Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Hey,
here we are.
Hump day. Look who's here.
I know.
Hey, guys.
It's been a while.
Hi,
man.
Bull.
You're so far away over there.
Well, it's because we've got the 5-chair configuration today because later in the program, Tedd Ginn Sr. will sit right there.
Legend.
We are going to be amongst royalty, folks.
We are. Yeah. We are.
And I don't just mean as a football coach. I mean as a human being. If you don't know the history of Tedd Ginn Jr., stick around. You're going to find it out. I talked last week on the show how I can't understand why what LeBron's doing with his I Promise School in Akron hasn't been duplicated on a mass scale across the country. I also can't understand how what this man has done at an inner city Cleveland school with very few resources, I can't understand how that isn't being duplicated on a wide scale.
Yeah.
It's incredible work.
Couldn't it be happening? We just don't know about it? I mean,
Well,
I'm sure it's happening some places.
It's not that it's not happening because there are other Tedd Ginn Seniors in other communities.
Sure.
There should be one in every major community. In every major inner city across this country, there should be someone like Tedd Ginn Sr. who, from jump, openly invests in any community's biggest resource. It's kids. And he's done a remarkable job, not just turning out football players. He'll tell you that's not how he measures his success. When he meets someone that's 33 years old that played for him 15 years ago, that never went to college and never played in the NFL, and they stand before him and tell him, Coach, you changed my life, that's the biggest impact a coach can have. And he's had that kind of impact. So I'm very excited that he's on the show.
He's
very much looking forward to that.
He's definitely made a lot of people's dreams come true. I mean, before him, it was a lot of kids that wanted to play football at, Ohio State and, go to college and play not just football, but get an education. And I mean, some people, when I was growing up, people would transfer to go to Glenville because they knew that he was able to make those dreams come true and he was able to make kids' dreams reality. Now, he does it through hard work. I mean, he
does. There's no substitute.
And what I really respected about him the most is that, I went to Bedford, but I talked to him a lot while I was going through my college recruiting. And he talked to me as if I was one of his players, giving me advice and stuff like that. And even today, I never played him in a game. Okay. We played him in a 7-on-7 at the Browns facility. We played him twice. We played him in a little regular season, loss. But in the playoffs, we beat them because Tyvis Powell intercepted the game-winning pick and sent them out of the playoffs. It's just something about Tyvis Powell and just clutch moments.
He's talking about himself in the first person.
I don't know what it is, but when Tyvis Powell is somewhere around the ball, if the game is on the line and the ball is thrown in Tyvis Powell's direction, he's somehow, except for one time against the Cardinals, but that doesn't matter.
We're gonna ask Mr. Ginn. Because here,
you don't have to ask him, G. He just told me. He goes, Tyvis Powell, who's that?
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, McNuggets. What's up?
Yeah.
I'm doing good. Coach is back here getting mic'd up. We're going to have him in about 11:30. Coach, appreciate you coming. He's got the bling on, by the way. When he sits down, you guys will see the
Hell yeah.
He's got quite a ring to show off here for you guys.
He's worked very hard for that ring. I would never take that ring off.
Now, here's what I'm going to ask you, Tyvis. You retired. You know what I'm saying? He got Junior that's retired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like you can get that smoke.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
Tedd Ginn Jr. is one of the fastest dudes to ever break cleats.
I understand that.
Did you ever line up against Teddy?
No, I never lined up against Ted. But
Are you faster than him, though, Tom?
No.
That's the real question.
No, I'm not faster than Ted.
No,
but
not right now.
Is that the first time in the history of football he's admitted he's not
wait a minute.
the GOAT at something?
Wait a minute. Put the camera on me, Steve, because I got to get this. Tyvis Powell does not fear anybody with speed, okay? I had the privilege of going up against an Olympian by the name of Marquise Goodwin every day in practice. And if I can handle him, I can handle anybody with speed.
And Marquise is fast.
And Marquise is an Olympian we're talking about here. So, speed does not fear me. I don't fear speed, okay?
You should. Speed
not
kills.
at all.
Yeah, man.
No. So let me ask you this. Myles Garrett's speed, right, his athletic ability on the end with Jim Schwartz's wide 9 defense, it's going to make a big difference.
Now that is something to fear.
Put it up already.
Yeah. Well, you
Miles
were
Garrett,
here yesterday when we all gave our opinion on the hiring of the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So go.
Oh,
What do you think?
my opinion on Jim Schwartz is he's a great defensive coordinator. Obviously, a guy that got Super Bowl ties or won a Super Bowl. And I love what he does with his defense. The wide 9 thing, obviously, we got to see Myles Garrett do it a little bit with Joe Woods this year. I wasn't a fan of it because our run defense wasn't stout enough.
Right.
Like, if you're going to run a wide 9, that's something that you do on obvious passing downs because you want Myles Garrett to have a two-way go on the tackle. You're doing it basically to isolate the tackle.
So he can go outside.
So he can go outside or inside.
Yeah.
If the tackle kick steps too far back, he could go up and under. If he doesn't get back far enough, he could go around him and make the play. That's why that happens. And then I was talking to Bull earlier about this before the show. He was saying that Jim likes to run a lot of man. Now I believe we definitely have the secondary to do that. Having G. New, having Denzel, and having Martin Emerson. Those guys are very sticky. The reason that you want to have man coverage behind a wide 9 is because you want to have tighter coverage. People still believe that you run man to get interceptions. That's not the case. You run man to have the coverage tighter because it's buying the pass rush extra time to get there.
Yeah.
My only thing is that it's still the defensive tackle position.
Yeah.
If we address that, then we should be
Right.
all right.
Obviously, that's the number one priority for the defense this offseason is addressing the defensive tackle position. We've talked about Deron Payne, who, if he becomes a free agent, the Browns should target. Certainly, you would think with their second-round pick, which is, the 40-something pick in the draft, 50, whatever it is, I started looking at mock drafts today for the first time. Dane Brugler, who's a local guy who writes for The Athletic. I can't remember who he had, but he had a defensive tackle, and he was like, they get this guy, whoever the guy was, Quiddy, I think was his name.
It's a no-brainer. They're
He
going
was
to go
like,
DT.
this guy will already be the best
right?
defensive tackle on the Browns. So obviously that's important. But what we were talking about with the corners, we talked about this a lot this year. It feels like when Denzel especially plays man-to-man, it just makes him more aggressive. And whether he gets a pick or not, him playing aggressively,
you just wanted to
he's just better. He's better that way.
The thing that frustrates anybody that watches the game of football is watching a wide receiver run down the field and be open. It's
Lord.
why?
We saw that all year.
Yeah, exactly. Why? But if you're playing man-to-man, obviously somebody's responsible for it. Now, Denzel plays a lot of man. He didn't necessarily make the play all the time, but it was at least nice to see him at least making a play on the ball, trying to get it out.
He was with the ball.
Exactly.
When the ball reached the receiver, he's usually there.
Yes.
Which is what you want.
Tyvis, I was talking to my dad the other day. I was laughing and joking. I said, what happened?
Oh,
yeah, that too.
Siri is always listening.
Hey, by the way,
she's
man,
always listening.
Nice pro move, bro.
These dudes right here, man, Google, y'all need to stop listening to these conversations.
Yeah, they listen to everything, man.
Y'all did not sign up for that. I did not say listen to me all the time.
Y'all ever notice that when you sitting down talking about a product or something like I'm about to get this new
you start
clip
clicking ads.
and start popping up all the ads.
Yes.
They listening, man.
I was sitting there asking my dad, I said, did they just get rid of bump and run coverage? That is gone. I ain't heard that since 2002. You can't bump and run
What
is
is that?
gone.
This is my question. No, but the question about that is this: what do y'all value out of a defensive back? Do you want a defensive back that
I used to value that.
So would
You're
you
not letting
rather
these guys get clean releases?
Would you rather the corner play bump and run and get PBUs, or would you rather them play off, see the ball, and make picks?
I'm not a fan of that style. I'm not.
So you rather just get PBUs all day and not picks?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Because
you know what they lead to?
You know that
Punts.
the interception is the greatest single defensive play that a defensive player can make.
I agree with that. But
when you go to the Hall of Fame as a DB, they measure you for interceptions.
But it shouldn't be that.
I get that.
That's what it is.
But it wasn't for Deion Sanders, and he's the yardstick.
Do you listen?
He's the greatest of all time.
Go look at the current DBs in the Hall of Fame. I think it's only one DB that has less than 50 picks.
Because the problem is,
So?
for years we didn't know. It was how do you judge? Judging defensive players, there's not a lot of statistics,
right?
And that's why now we have all these analytics.
But with Deion, it was passes thrown in his direction.
Well, nobody threw the ball to
Zero.
Deion.
He closed off a quarter of the field when he was out there.
But Deion also had a lot of pick sixes.
He did.
Earlier in his career. That's Deion, bro.
We need to do a read. McNuggets, take it.
We do. We got into Browns talk a little quicker than I thought, so let's hop into Tri-C and let you know that our daily Browns talk is brought to us by Cuyahoga Community College. Tri-C supports their students financially, professionally, personally, opening up the doors of endless possibilities, whether it's Haga, Hoga, you name it. It's still opening doors because Tri-C is where the future starts. It starts right now. It actually started already because classes are underway as we speak. You have till Friday to sign up. Tyvis, question about interceptions, though. Denzel Ward had 3 picks this year. 2 came in tight man-to-man coverage. Think of the one on Terry McLaurin where he essentially danced with him. The other one against Atlanta, he was in tight press man coverage, bump and run on a little mesh route across the middle that he jumped. The third one came on a zone play against Baltimore. So are you saying interceptions don't happen in man or just less frequently?
No, it's less frequently. The only time that you really make interceptions in man-to-man is usually if it's a bad throw by the quarterback or if you just so happen to guess the route correctly and undercut it and make the play, which in today's –
You can jump routes. You can sit on routes.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just telling you. Like, for example, I'm going to give you a perfect example. Okay. Everybody loves Jalen Ramsey, but Jalen Ramsey has – probably like 20 picks in his career. No. He's been playing for 7 years.
You've been dogging him for all year.
Well, he's lost his fastball.
And I'm glad that everybody is starting to finally realize what I've been saying.
I came to you months ago.
And what did I tell you?
Right.
But
before you came to me, what did you think?
Right.
Exactly.
You talked us into not liking Jalen Ramsey.
Like, Greg Newsome is yet to have an NFL pick in his career.
Makes him a bad corner.
Here's the thing, Tyvis. You know this as well as everybody. Don't nobody know what corners do. Corners are rare. There might as well be elves and fairies. Like, you don't see corners, bro. Like, if you come across somebody that played ball, they was not a corner. They was not no elite corner. That's why if you half decent as a corner, you automatically 5-star.
That's a fact.
And then if you're an offensive lineman, don't nobody know what offensive linemen do. No. Half the people ain't never been an offensive. So what they do, if you good 1 year,
you good forever.
You win a Pro Bowl early.
Remember the Asamoah?
Remember?
Greatest of all time. Offensive line too. You go to the Pro Bowl as an offensive lineman.
You're rubber
stamped
forever.
Even if you're not that good.
Coach Ginn know this. If you make all Ohio junior year,
you make it in your senior year.
Easily. Like,
just got to put the uniform on.
But let me ask you this, guys. So, what's the most interceptions a cornerback's going to have in a year?
Five is exceptional, I think.
I think
they're 5.
Yeah.
What do you think led the NFL this year?
8. No,
you're talking about, was it a 7. Corner or a DB?
Just this year, who led the league in interceptions?
I don't know.
I know that Tyreek Woodley dude had from Seattle had like 8 of them, and he was leading for a long time.
Asante Samuel had 3 in a game.
Yeah, he did.
He did have 3. The league leader this year, by the way, were both safeties. Minkah Fitzpatrick and Justin Simmons was 6 each.
Okay, so 6 led the league. So think about this,
guys.
That's
terrible.
Wait a second.
It used to be more.
It used to be double digits.
No corner had more than 5 interceptions. So think about this. How many picks
that dude from Seattle had, that rookie?
He must have had 5. So think about this.
How many picks had 11 last year?
How many plays is a corner on the field for?
That's a good year.
For the season.
How many what?
A starting corner. How many plays he's playing in a season?
Oh, a lot.
Hundreds, right?
They playing like 55 a game.
55 a game. Quick math, 550 times about 800. Let's say 800 plays. What?
About 1,200.
All right, 1,200 plays. If you're talking about we're judging guys based on 5 out of 1,200 plays. That's insane. Judging a corner based on interceptions is stupid.
See, it's a difference from just being good and being great. We're talking about the Hall of Fame.
But you can say that about
what I'm talking about, interceptions.
We judge them by touchdowns.
Yeah, interceptions lead to Hall of Fame.
I judge them by, but there's other stats we could judge them by. There's yards, there's catches.
Because he's an offensive player. Well, defensive players, pass breakups.
You could go off. Yeah, you can go off with completion percentage.
No, I'm talking about Tyvis's point that guys get in the Hall of Fame based on interceptions.
Oh, they do.
Which is true. I'm not disagreeing with you. But I think it's stupid.
It's the equivalent of the touchdown for the wide receiver.
See, and the thing is, you should be getting more interceptions now than back then because it's more of a passing league.
That's true.
Yeah. So why is it that the numbers are down?
I will tell you why. Because, man, DBs should be like receivers. Like,
what's that supposed to be? We are.
No.
The hands
better.
They do.
If you had hands, you'd be a receiver.
And I don't even think it's his hands. I think it's the ball awareness, right?
I agree with that.
And there's people, like, there's certain routes, like, Ty, we talked about it, if you know they do based on their split, based on their alignment, based on down
you can tell
distance,
right off the release.
You know what they're running.
Yeah.
The most thing that they gets on my nerve is it's 3rd and 10. You know where the sticks is.
Play the sticks.
I'm
sitting at 10 yards and I ain't moving.
Why are you bailing?
10 yards and I'm not moving.
Turning and bailing before the snap. Now all he got that's a stop. That's pitch and catch every single time.
That's when you can do that. When you sit at the 3rd and 10, sit at the sticks and don't move. If you do that, first of all, you got a lot of confidence in yourself and you know the game. You know that they got to run something at 10 yards. So you just sit there. And if he throws something under 10, come up and make the tackle, get off the field.
Okay, we're off topic. I need more of your thoughts on Jim Scwhartz. Have you talked to players that have played for him? Do you have any connections to him? What do we need to know about our new defensive coordinator?
I have not personally talked to – the only guy that I talked to was my guy that played at Tennessee last year, but he said he was just a linebackers coach in Tennessee, so it wasn't really his defense. Yeah. But he said that the couple of times that he interacted with Jim Scwhartz, he really loved him, really liked the coach that he is. So, and that's what a lot of people that I've seen on Twitter and a lot of former players was coming out congratulating him for his job. Everybody said that he is a really good coach. He understands their players and stuff like that. So I think that the Browns might have did something well with this. Obviously, you got a guy who used to be a head coach, so he got that experience. He knows how to run a team. If Kevin Stefanski's going to be hands-off of this thing, which I don't think he will be. If my job's on the line, I'm monitoring everything. But
I mean, it appears that he is sort of de facto absentee.
Yeah.
Like
Jim Scwhartz is going to be the head coach of the defense.
Basically.
And I'm good with that.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. If it's as long as he can get those guys to play and instill confidence. And the number one thing that he has to find is who is the leaders and how do we make these guys vocal leaders? They have to make.
But can somebody be a vocal leader if that's not his nature?
I don't know.
I mean, Myles Garrett, as great a player as he is,
I don't think Myles is ever going to be that
guy. But at some point, you get frustrated. Like, you got to do things that you never thought you would do before. Like, to me, I was never always a quote-unquote vocal leader. But at some point, if you get frustrated over a course of the game, it just comes out because you care. It matters. Like, at points of this season, did it matter to them that they was losing these games? And it's not the fact that they were losing the game. It was the style at which they were losing the game. You let a team come run the ball on you. Like, that's just flat out telling you we just more physical and we more dominant than you. At what point is there some resistance? At what point do you go talk to your teammates and say, we are better than this?
Well, Bull, maybe we've talked about how teams always take on or oftentimes take on the personality of their head coach.
Yeah.
Well, if he is the head coach of the defense, by the defense just watching him every day be that vocal leader in practice, it might empower somebody on that defense to step up and be that guy.
I mean, the Browns really need Myles Garrett to lead the way.
I always say,
I agree, but I don't think he's that guy.
For when Greg Williams was the defensive coordinator here, I'm a pretty laid back guy. I know I could be animated at times, but pretty laid back guy. When G-Dub was the DC here, I felt like after listening to that man talk, you feel like you can go beat up Mike Tyson one-on-one. Because that's just that was what he instilled in his
Campbell's
players.
doing that right now in Detroit as the head coach.
And that's what they need.
And it's working.
That's what they need.
Wow. I haven't gone to the playoffs in 2 years.
But let's face it. Let's look at what they were this year compared to what they've been. And by the way, they should have gone to the playoffs.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
The refs, the league actually came out and talked about 5 different calls that affected the outcome of that Seattle Rams game.
You know what?
Rams should have won that game. And that would have put the Lions in the playoffs.
They need to start penalizing referee.
I agree.
Y'all need to dock their pay or something for this call.
That was embarrassing.
Here's what we need to do. We need to stop making Myles Garrett the second coming of the Messiah. And like the man has 16 sacks, my man.
Back-to-back seasons.
Like 16. Like we expect this dude to Porter Gatorade, get 16 sacks, do your Christmas shopping.
Wait a minute, when you say stop,
walk the dog and paint the back
overhyping.
No.
You're saying you don't think it's fair to ask him to lead?
No. Here's what I think is fair. I think it's fair to ask the rest of the people to do their damn job.
I agree with that.
Yes.
If you be
1,000%.
Let me ask you this. Let me tell you this. Let me show you how this is.
Yeah.
If I play today, I'm not waiting on Myles Garrett for nothing. I got to get my own bag.
Fair.
That's a fact.
I got to make me some plays.
That's a fact.
Why am I waiting looking at this man, and I'm over here, he got 16 sacks. Why don't you get 16? Can you get 15? I can't go to my wife. My wife is not cashing Myles Garrett's wife's checks. I got to get them checks for, I
get what you're saying. Agreed. We all agree on that, but somebody's got to lead. No, one of the players is
they go to Anthony Walker will be back next year.
You know what type of
Willie? He's a free agent.
You know how,
he'll be back. They seen the dramatic difference that him being on the field and him not being. You got to keep a guy like that.
If you ask yourself, would you rather have people who make plays or lead?
Well, of course I'd rather people make plays. But why can't I have?
Ain't that what this about?
That's what it's about.
Can't I have a player that leads and makes plays?
You can lead by example. Get them 16 like I got them.
I know Coach Ginn's 10 minutes away, but he's sitting right there, so I'm going to ask him this question. Coach, do you need a leader on the field on each unit all the time?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, and that man knows.
Coach, do you need people to make plays?
So now in the utopic world, that guy's the same guy.
He's the same dude.
And it just may not, but I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, can Myles Garrett do that too? But I know he's being asked to do it.
Hold on. I wish Coach was sitting here right now. Coach,
you want to bring him out?
Yeah, come on in. Just come on in.
Stop the games.
Hey, well, we're doing this. We get some reads in.
All right, you do your read. Because I got a great question.
We're going to get into this.
We're going to get back to Coach in 1 sec. He's going to hook him up. But while we're doing that, Coach, thanks for joining us. If you're not a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show already, for $1.99 a month, you can become a starters tier member. That gets you all the loyalty badges, the custom emojis, access to our community posts for $4.99 a month. That's less than $5 a month. It's less than $60 per year. You get all those same starter tier perks. You get the overtime video, shout out, discount codes for merch. You can text with us, and we're going to answer your questions directly. That number to text us, I'm answering the questions this week, is on the community members tab on YouTube. We've already got a couple questions.
Can you only see that if you're a member?
Only if you're a coaches tier member.
Oh, okay, great.
Only coaches tier member, you can see that. I've answered a few questions. One of those, ironically, was should we bring Anthony Walker back? I disagree with Tyvis. I don't think we should. And guess what else? Built Bar, 15% off. I'm going to get it right today. Built.com, code LOCKEDON15 for 15% off Built Bars. You know why Glenville's so good at football? Those dudes are strong. Those dudes are big. Those dudes are fast. Those dudes are built by Built Bars. Coach Ginn using lockdown code 15% off to get those dudes so jacked. If you want to be
his secret. That's his secret.
Can I ask the first question to Coach Ginn real quick?
Well, you're going to take me off track, but go ahead.
I
just have to
right
keep
back.
it locked
Coach,
in my mind.
What is a tar blooder? I was looking up the.
Good question.
What is a tar blooder? I need to know that.
A robot.
How did that become the school's nickname?
Well, they said, on the railroad, you had a robot.
Oh.
And the blood was from the hands and the tar is from the black is from the tar.
So it's really symbolic of doing hard labor.
Work. That's right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Who came up with that? Do we even know?
I don't know. It was before my time.
When did it become the name? Do we know?
Been years, back in the 40s.
Oh, wow. I think that's a great story. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're the only tar blooders in the country. And
I don't know anybody.
I mean, because there's a million cougars, tigers, lions, pirates. I bet you won't find another tar blooder.
Absolutely.
That's really cool. By the way, congratulations.
Thanks.
I know that you didn't need this to stamp your career as wildly successful, but it is that cherry on top. And congratulations for your team's hard work and everything else. What do we want him to do? Move this mic up? Oh, I see. Yeah. So back to and we're going to get to all of the season and your career and everything else in a second. But while you're here, we're having this conversation. We've had this talk before, and I love to hear from guys that have lived it and have seen it. Can coaches turn their best player, who isn't naturally a leader, into a vocal leader? Can that happen?
Absolutely. You have to build mentality. You got kids and young people that won't even talk, but you got to work at building mentality, and you got to work at building a team. And if you heard me all year, I talked about we got talent, but we still not a team. So I had to work on that. You had to work on that, and you got to have players that is certain expectation we need from you. No matter what your talent is, probably your best vocal guy is probably not your best player, and can be a great leader. But I think you have to build that. And you can build that in players.
Have you had that guy who was kind of quiet on the field vocally, but he was a great player, and you told him, no, I need you to be more, and
Absolutely.
He became more?
Oh, yeah, it became more.
So you've seen it. It
I've
can be
seen
done.
it, yeah.
Is it unfair to ask that of Myles Garrett?
No, it's not. you know, he's a pro and he's getting paid and he's a professional. You know, it's certain things that you have to give to the people and to the team. No, I don't think that's asking too much.
That's fascinating.
I want to hear what you got to say about the corner.
Oh, man, don't even talk about the corner. What y'all think a corner is? You know, if I'm running the defense, the first thing I'm looking for is 2 corners.
Talk to him.
You understand? That's where it starts. That's where it starts.
Why is that so important?
Because I'm going to play 9 in the box.
So you better have 2 sticky corners.
And you got to have 2. Well, let's talk about Hamilton Dixon and back in those days.
Oh,
y'all don't think those guys was pro corners?
Oh.
You know? I mean, that's what made the defense, is your corners. I mean, right today in high school, I'm looking for 2 corners. Then we'll talk about the D. Because I'm going to play 9 at you. See, a safety to me is a linebacker.
Right. Really?
Oh, absolutely. Especially in high school, man. Come on. Nobody can throw.
I love it. See, I can listen to this all day long.
Do you know how good you got to be to throw the ball in Northeast Ohio? It's cold. You got maybe 1 or 2 receivers.
Yeah.
I'm manning up and I'm bringing pressure.
I'm bringing pressure.
If you can hit them throws and you getting hit.
Well, you got
hold on now, because it's
so you got the 2 good corners, then you can throw as much pressure as you want.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Wow.
I'm coming. Safeties are linebackers to me in defense.
Yeah.
You understand? Because if I'm teaching somebody running off tackle, that linebacker that safety, the free or the strong, whatever, you got your eyes in the ear hole.
Has that always been your philosophy from day one?
Always.
Never changed.
Yeah, well, you look at Marshawn Lattimore and all those guys. Those guys was lockdown corners in high school. So I just think, what's the Sherman guy at San Francisco?
No, yeah,
I think he started this off-man stuff.
Yeah.
Sherman pressed every down.
Yeah, but you know, because you know, I'm just showing you got to have some guys that can lock down out here. And once we do that, hey, we call it razor. Here we come.
Pin back your ears and let's go.
Come.
Coach, you've had so many great teams through the years, and this year's Glenville team, this is the first Cleveland public school to win the state championship.
Absolutely.
Which is just, it's remarkable that it's never happened. You've had great teams. Was this your best team?
No.
What was your best team?
I can go back to probably when 09.
Troy?
Probably was Cordell and all those guys.
L.A. the Jet on there, Laquan Anderson,
all those guys.
Shane Wynn.
Yeah, all those guys was probably the best team.
Jamario O'Neal and Ray Smalls.
It's so many. You know, every team has its own character, but you know, I would say had this is the best team.
Yeah.
It was the best team to stay focused, but it was tough. You know.
Yeah.
And when you talk about football and talk about winning and losing and coaching and all that kind of stuff, it's really not that. It's the spiritual base. You know, the Cleveland Browns lose games because of their spiritual base.
Tell me what you mean by that.
You got to have a spiritual base in your organization. You know,
most teams do. The Browns don't.
Well, I'm being honest with you. That's just what. If I'm looking from the outside, you understand?
Yeah,
I can't see that.
Tyvis, speak to that. You've been on a lot of different organizations. A lot of teams have some sort of service on Sundays before the game or prayer session or something.
Yes.
Have you seen?
Usually in the NFL, it's on Saturday.
Saturday night?
Saturday night.
And during your brief time with the Browns, did you see that there was perhaps a lack of that thread through the organization?
You know, I was there during OTAs, and I don't recall actually seeing that. It was actually interesting that he brought that up because I actually don't recall.
This is why I say it. You don't lose. Every game that we lose with the Browns is some magical thing.
Weird thing.
Weird thing. So that leads me to what I said. You know what I'm saying? You can't. It's something with a higher power is causing us to lose a game. That's the only thing I can come up with.
Wow.
So I can go back to years ago when you was talking about the best team. I remember we played St. Ed's one year. We was undefeated. And St. Ed's was going in the end zone. And these are real things. And the ball just fell out of the back's hand. On the 2-yard line, we recovered it. right? The next, when we had to play them in the playoff, the same thing happened to us with Bruce Friesen. Nobody ain't touching.
Mysteriously fumbled.
Just fumbled it.
Coach, I'm curious. Where I grew up in New York City, there was no all the New York. Or I grew up in Brooklyn. All the schools were really big, so there was no separation based on size of the school. It was the city league and the Catholic school league. It was just separated that way. It was no private and public didn't play. Should they do that way in Ohio or no?
No, I think it's competitive that way. I wouldn't say that. I'm not on that type of situation where the Catholics and the public there.
Yeah. No, how do you overcome that huge advantage they have of expanding their drawing pool and recruiting from an area where your hands are tied? You're getting kids from a very small geographical area, and you have to compete against these schools that are going out and getting players from all over. That is a huge disadvantage, Coach.
Well, it's a disadvantage, but it's not a disadvantage if your heart is in it and you mean what you're saying you want to do. I think it's an advantage for us. Just leave me alone. See, I think they're not fair for the public schools. That's Ocean and everybody else. You give them a free reign. We use that as gas, for real. I'm playing teams like that. I'm playing neighborhood. We're a neighborhood team. We're not the city of Cleveland.
Right.
You understand?
Very much so.
So when we go to compete, we playing the city of Miller, the city of Lakewood.
Right.
You understand? And St. Ed, St. Ignatius, they can get from everywhere in the country.
You know what? Hey, Coach, I tell you, I'm gonna give you your flowers because I wholeheartedly understand what you're going through and what y'all came from. I went to Camp McKinley. Absolutely. I graduated in 2000, so I played on the state championship teams.
You was the one beat us 72-0.
Yeah, we did.
Get him, Coach.
No wonder that. Hey, no wonder that helmet over there.
That's it.
I didn't want to say that, Coach.
That's one thing I don't remember. I remember that.
Is that the worst defeat you've ever suffered?
The worst.
I can't imagine
they killed me, man.
But I tell you what.
Get him, man.
How many times did you sack his quarterback?
We actually remember this.
I remember this.
I don't even that year we was loaded.
Yeah, you were loaded.
But what came from that was they became the new McKinley. Because after that, we was a public school. When we looked at going to play St. Ignatius, we thought that was we thought that was all we had. We a public school that wanted to play St. Ed's and all those other dudes. Mm-hmm. And I went to college and I came back and my brother was playing in 2004. I said, who's the nicest right now? He says, oh, Glenville, they coming. And I said, what you click Glenville? He said, oh no, they got. And I looked at the magazines and they had all of the top names and Streets of Smith and all these other places. I'm like, man. And then about 06, 07 hit, and they was playing Ignatius. They was the undefeated team. And so I felt like we gave them the torch and they took it and rolled with it. And they even got the same colors as us staying there. So I just been always excited about the program. And people, if you're a public school, we ain't never trying to get split up. No, we want to play you every week. We don't play you until we win. And it's and that satisfaction you get when you finally break through. Oh yeah, they can't never take that from you.
Oh yeah. What do you feel about the competitive balance that they did? Because when I was in high school, what was y'all, D1 or D2?
It was D1.
So, D1. So now that it's a competitive balance thing where they switched up all the divisions, what do you feel about that? Because we are 4 now?
No, we 4 because we don't have kids. See, it's based on the boys in your school. You got to understand, we in Cleveland, Glenville. A lot of people moving out, going to other areas.
Your enrollment has gone down.
Our enrollment went down, a lot, man. We don't have boys. We don't have kids. Yeah. And that's why we're in D4. We're not in D4 based on talent. We're in D4 based on boys that's in the school.
Coach, what was your first year as the head coach?
97.
Go back to 97, and that's 25 years. Mm-hmm. What's the biggest difference that you've seen in the boys?
Oh, easy. It's just they don't love football. They just play it.
They don't love it anymore. Why are they playing?
Because
a way out?
Because of the way of the world. All the things that's going on today. They don't love football.
Wow.
They just play it. So you have to beat love into it. You know, you got your games, you got your cell phones, you got everything is all speeded up. You can't
too many
do
distractions
this.
now.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, they got talent, but they don't love football.
Across the board?
Across the board.
That's interesting.
I'm just telling you, tell me, I mean, you know, and I say it all the time. I had a state championship team. But can I tell you on the team who really love it? Because you love it by what you do every day. I don't see that.
Kids love winning.
That's it. But
so I would imagine that as they're going on and the excitement's building and they're getting a lot of attention, they love that aspect.
They love that. They love the Instagram. They love all that.
That's got to be so annoying.
But they don't love football.
Huh.
Wow, that's
Is that frustrating for you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but that's what I work on every day.
Yeah.
You understand? Because if you love football, you're going to do the extra things that it takes, you know. I mean, you got to eat, live it, sleep it, you know, all that.
You dedicate your life.
You dedicate your life. You know, when you go back to them, when these kids were in school, you know, we have practice. After practice, we going to the trainer. After training, you're going to get your milkshake, you're going to get this, you're going to go home and do your work. I take up your whole day.
Yeah.
You understand? Because you don't have nothing to deal with but school and football and training. That's it.
After you won the state title, and we did a big story on Channel 3, and a couple of days later, I was on a weekend, and a guy I didn't know came up to me, and he said, "Hey, I want to tell you something. I saw that you did the big story on basically Coach Ginn and the team winning the championship. I can't remember his name. Tall guy, tall, thin. He said, I wasn't a great player. I played for Coach Ginn. He wouldn't remember me. I wasn't an elite talent. But more, and this is why I said at the opening of the show, as good a football coach as he is, and as many great football players as he's churned out to go to Ohio State and the NFL, he said, I wasn't one of those guys. But he formed me as a man.
Absolutely.
And he's done that for more kids than he's put in the league and in college football. What does that mean to you to know that your real measurement isn't the number of kids you put in college or the NFL, but these kids who have careers and lives outside of that look back to you and say, you were the spark?
Oh, no doubt. That's what it's all about. You know, I'm just a football coach. I'm just a track coach. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the deal. Those are just things that I use as the carrot. You know, I'm trying to teach them and give them the proper understanding of life. You know, you only learn from what you're exposed to. We can go to the board, we can find the angle of the triangle or the circumference of the hole, but what you know how to do, how you know how to live, how you know how to navigate through the world. Where are we teaching that at? You know, and we're not teaching that nowhere. You understand? See, we was blessed to sit at a table, and at that table was your parent. And your parent taught you. We learned at home. You went to school and just obeyed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you learn at home. It's no tables in the homes anymore. So you have to become the table. That's the school, that's the football team, that's the track team, and you have to teach and give directions every day. And that's what we try to do in all the programs that I deal with. Glenville football, Glenville track, Ginn Academy. We line up every day in twos. You understand? And we are teaching them how to navigate through the world and what's important, what's not important. I take 300 phones a day.
What do you mean you take them? You collect
when they
them?
When they come into school. This is the biggest distraction in the world.
That's a fact.
That's so smart.
That's what's raising your kids. So
what's the pushback from the kids? Do they get used to that? Do they hate it?
Oh, they don't like it, but it's the concept. It's the purpose of why you're here.
What benefit have you seen from doing that?
Yeah, the teacher can teach. That's the benefit.
There is no distraction. You know what, Coach? I honestly don't understand why that isn't a rule at every school in the United States.
Well, you can't.
Give me your phone.
Yeah, give me your phone.
Out there.
Yeah.
And a part of the pushback is, I've learned this because I was going through it when my kids were young and had phones. A lot of the pushback is from the parents. Oh, no, I need my kid to have that phone if I have to get a hold of them. We used to do it when we were young and we didn't have phones.
The parent will come in and say, That's my son, so I pay the bill. You and your son and your phone, y'all can go home.
I love that. I love that, Coach.
So wait, at Glenville, every kid has to turn.
Well, I'm at Ginn Academy.
No, at Ginn Academy.
Oh, at Ginn Academy. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'll send you home with your phone.
I love that.
You know,
you want to be here?
Because it's taking. See, and this is the young people, and we talking about. You know, it wasn't a lot of voices back. Whatever that kid you was talking to.
Yeah.
They wouldn't listen to a lot of people. It was just me.
Right.
You know, and everybody that I hired around me, we're saying the same thing. We're raising children.
So structure.
Yeah, but we're raising children. That's what we're doing for real in the sport and everything. We're not here to win. If you want me to win a state title every year, you got the wrong guy. You know what I'm saying?
So what is your mission statement then? At the beginning of every year, is to...
It's to win the kid.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes football gets in the way of the purpose. Mm-hmm. You know, and we got to you just a coach. No, I'm not. I'm a lifesaver. I'm trying to be a mentor to this kid every day.
Tell, for those in the audience that don't know what Ginn Academy is, talk about what it is, what you've been able to accomplish, and what you want to continue to do in the future.
Yeah, well, Ginn Academy is the first all-male public high school in the state of Ohio. And
it's still the only one, right?
And the only one.
Right.
Okay, it's an innovative school that, you know, and my curriculum is different than everybody else. My curriculum is love, passion, and understanding. I'm gonna love you, I'm gonna have passion, we're gonna give you proper understanding, because that's what we lose at. Okay, math, science, social studies, and English is a requirement for everybody in the world. So we believe in giving kids individual life plans. That means you got to know them all, you got to have a relationship with them, you know what I'm saying, because you can't educate nobody you don't know. Do you raise your kids the same way? If you got 3 or 4 kids, you treat them all the same?
No.
No. Okay, so how can you educate everybody the same?
What kind of success are you having?
Well, I got 95, 98% graduation rate.
That's great.
And I apologize for the 2%.
Man, I'm getting goosebumps. Coach, we talked about the LeBron I Promise school in Akron. And I think on a smaller level, particularly at a high school level, that's what you're doing, obviously with a lot fewer dollars and a lot fewer resources. But your mission, because LeBron's mission is the same thing. It's let's bring these kids in, let them know they're cared about, let them know they're loved. And also, because he has more resources financially from corporations, they're giving the family these extended services to help them get out of the plight that they're in. And he's done that with so many families. My question is, why aren't we seeing more? These public schools that get hundreds of millions of dollars are doing it the antiquated way with horrible results. Ain't no public high school in Cleveland have a 98% graduation rate. Why aren't we taking what's working and mass producing that everywhere? I don't get it, and it's so frustrating.
Well, you know, that's a good question. I ask that same question every day when I go to work.
How do we get it done?
If it was based on money, if something is paying 98%, you're going to invest in that.
Yes.
Okay, well, we paying 98%. Why nobody want to invest in it?
Meantime, the public, I don't know what the graduation rate is for the public schools. I believe it's in the 60s.
Maybe.
It might even be in the 50s. Yeah. The proof is in the pudding.
Absolutely.
And I don't understand why we're doing it this antiquated way by default. The definition of insanity, you know, is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. You've gone outside the box. You've shattered the paradigm with unprecedented success, yet I don't think enough people know about it. I don't think there is, if I'm the state, I'm going to come in and look at what you do for a year, and then I'm going to go duplicate it in every high school I have.
My question is, do you feel that the people in charge are invested enough in young black men's lives? Because if I'm looking at it like this and I'm seeing 98%, I'm seeing the success rate. If you are a politician, if you're in the House of Representatives, if you're a business owner, if you're a corporation,
city councilman,
do you value what your school brings to the lives of young black men?
I don't think the state cares.
That's
unfortunate.
That's a good question. You know, I asked the same question. You know, but I have to continue to do the work that God put me out here, the assignment that He.
Do you have a relationship with Mayor Bibb?
Oh, absolutely.
I think Mayor Bibb is a young, exciting, fresh idea. I think he's the paradigm breaker that we need.
Well, you know, he showed you his hand when he did the parade.
Right.
I never expected nothing like that, you know. So he showed his care for.
What did the kids think of that, by the way?
Oh man, that was exciting. I mean, you know, that was the biggest thing I ever seen.
The weather kind of gummed things up.
Yeah, but that was the biggest thing I've seen in Cleveland in 50 years. I've never seen nothing like that, you know.
Have you had conversations with him about how you take your model or how he takes his model to CPSD?
Oh, yeah.
And I have been to some schools, the Cleveland public schools that I visit. Some get it, some do. Some are trying so hard, but it feels like they're swimming upstream. I'm wondering if Mayor Bibb can be the conduit between you and CPSD to break down these barriers and do things a new and different way.
Yeah,
Is that coming?
I hope so. You know, we not hiding. We here every day. You know, you can see what we do. You know, we can't stop to complain. We got to keep working and hope that somebody have some love and passion for what we're doing, you know, and see it. I mean, this is over 30-some years that I've been doing this. You know, what you want me to say? Yeah. You know, you see the success.
The results are there.
Yeah, you know, I don't know, man. You know, it's what's it. You know, they got the power, they got the money. You understand? I got to keep on moving. I can't.
Yeah. The state
don't worry about
I don't think
that.
the state cares. Unfortunately, I don't think the state cares. Coach, do you often have players, former players, or people from the academy that come back and say to you, I want to be a part of this, I want to help, thank you for everything you did? Is that happening all the time?
Yeah, I get a lot of thank yous, you know, but I'm not going to say I get a lot of support, you know.
Right.
You know, they wasn't taught that. They was taught to give back to where you come from. Right. You know, give the next guy what was given to you.
You don't see enough of that?
No, that wasn't what they was taught.
Is there one thing you need that money can't buy that you currently don't have? And that might be it. Maybe it's the older generation coming back.
Yeah,
to lead
I think that we're not giving and pulling each other up. You know, I think that we get ours and we go.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know, the world. You know, because you weren't taught here. I
you
think
don't
the
teach
world.
it that way.
No, we don't. You know, and a lot of times people think that you're doing something personally for me, but you got all these children here. God bless you to get out. You understand? And you should give back to them so that they can get out.
You know, Coach Ginn, you know, I think there's people misconstrue stuff. You know, sometimes you can talk and you can come back and give your time and you can give your energy, but in the black community, unless you have economic empowerment to run your programs, to be autonomous, to actually put money back into those resources and those kids, all the rest of it is talk. At the end of the day, you need money to run your programs. And if we think that just because I could come back and say, hey, how y'all doing? I come back in my shiny car and you can look at my jewelry and everything good, right? See, people, the misunderstanding is, it's a problem because you have a son who played professionally. And that's the biggest handicap to when you go out and sit in front of people because they think, oh, well, you got it. Why don't you spend your own? Right. Coach Prime is dealing with that right now.
Absolutely.
I might want to ask you how much resources of your own funds that you put into these places.
Well, you want to start today? Yesterday?
Sure, it's a lot.
You know, it's every day. You know, I got kids that I just got back from Florida Sunday. I took 4 kids to University in Florida to try to get them in school. I ain't have nobody to do that. You know what I'm saying? We was there for 3 or 4 days. You know, it's just amazing, man, just to hear kids say, man, I thought palm trees was false.
They've never been outside of the state.
Never seen them
outside of Cuyahoga County.
At the Ginn Academy, you know, as a public school, there are restrictions, right, from the State Board of Education as to what you can do and not do in school. Are you able to get around some of those things? Because like some of the state rules about education are just antiquated and flat out stupid.
Well, I'm an innovative school. Yeah. That's what, I'm a new and innovative school. That's how I got to school.
But the state doesn't get in your way?
Not really. I think that, it's things, in the district and things that they don't want you to do. But, some things you have to do to make it work,
Right.
I talk about God, so what you gonna do? You gonna fire me, it's just things.
Talk about that, Ted. We've seen over the years that, there have been opposition to school prayer. Yeah. You talk about the Browns,
I
not
personally,
having that faith
just
base.
to be fair, I'm not going to be a phony. I'm opposed to school prayer personally. Yeah, I'm opposed to it. But if the kids know going into it that that's part of the school, I got no problem with it. But
how have you seen that aspect of your school change things for you?
I mean, that's what keeps us going. That's the glue.
It is?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you get any pushback from parents? I mean, they know the deal when they come here.
I don't force kids.
Right, and no one should. So it's optional. If you don't want to participate, you don't have to. But we're going to do it.
Yeah, we got it. I got Gospel Tuesday, so.
Right.
You understand? So.
You wouldn't want to do what you're doing without that, right?
No doubt. See, we have to get a proper understanding about everything. We all have somebody that we look up to, whatever religion you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go against that. But if you want to be a part of the school, a part of the teams, football, track, these are the things we're going to do. I have FCA every week. That's Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Is it well attended?
Oh, yeah. Well, some of the kids, if you're going to play football, you're going to go track, you got to go to FCA. You understand? So now, whether you believe it or not, that's on you, but you got to go.
You're at least going to expose them to
so I have kids that come as Jehovah's Witnesses, there's Muslims, there's whatever. I let them do their thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me go back to the corner conversation, because I'm glad you brought it up. And you brought up your son. Do you wish he would have played corner than receiver?
No, he did whatever they wanted him to do. Mm-hmm. I think that he did well.
I heard he was that deal at corner.
Oh yeah, he was. He was the number one. It was only the two players in high school the year he came out was Adrian Peterson and Tedd Ginn Sr. were the two number one players in high school. You didn't know that?
Wow.
Yeah. It was Adrian Peterson on offense and Ted as defensive
How is
back.
Ted? How's he doing?
He's good.
Is he enjoying his post-life? Does he miss
y'all
it?
coaching
Where is
together?
he?
Yeah, no, we're not coaching together. He faked me out. Bro.
Oh, really?
He showed up.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Ted, because I just did the Big Ten tailgate with him. And he told me.
Well, he lied to you.
What did he tell you? That he was helping?
He helped me a little bit.
He helped for a minute.
Yeah. But he was busy in his thing. He got his little kids. He got from 8 to 13. They won 2 national championships in Florida.
Said they never lost.
They
ain't lost.
Was good.
Oh, he's
he had a great team.
Yeah.
Coach, I'm
getting
curious,
elite.
Your coaching style, sitting here, you're so soft-spoken. You don't raise your voice. You're very even keel. Take us into one of your practice sessions and into the fourth quarter of one of your heated games. Are you the same way? Are you a shouter?
Pretty much.
How does it go?
Yeah, pretty much. See, I've grown up.
What does that mean?
That means you can't do like the old school way.
Right.
You got to calm down. You know what I'm saying? Because you got different type of players. Years ago you used to do things in football that you can't do now. Right. People tell me now, you got old, you soft. No, I say I'm smart. Because the kids that we have today, if I act like that, you'll be out here by yourself.
They'll quit.
Yeah. They'll quit.
Especially because they don't love it now.
They don't love it. You understand?
Right. I don't like that, though.
I don't
like that.
Yeah, but I have a certain way of coaching that they know, and I tell them all the time, I kid around, but I don't play. So they know when I'm kidding. They know when I'm not playing. So I just think that today's time make you change. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It make you change your style. You can't do it like you used to. So I don't know, man. I just think that the world is making everything tough for everybody. in sports and everything.
We have a video we want to play of a coach that I've always thought was very similar to your style, speaking about you as a man and as a football coach. McNuggets, we can play that.
Well, you know, I've known
my dude.
Tedd Sr. for, I don't know, 40 years maybe 38 years, whatever. And, you know, I've always admired the fact that all he wants to do is make a difference in kids' lives. And he wants to make a difference in kids' lives who maybe haven't had as much support as some of us have had. And he spends night and day, all he cares about is helping his kids have a chance to make it, to realize their goals and so forth. And you know, what he's done with that program since taking over at Glenville, and then now his Ginn Academy, and you know, the numbers of kids that he has sent on to have opportunities, and you know, he's miraculous in my mind. There's not many people who have had the kind of impact in not the easiest situation. It's been amazing, the pride that it's brought to our Northeast Ohio area, the pride that it brought to the Buckeyes, you know, to have so many of those kids. There was a time when we did a total compilation of how many yards, touchdowns, interceptions, wins. You know, we did this whole Glenville thing, and I wish I could put my hand on it, because it was thousands of yards and points and victories, and that the Tarblooders were a part of at Ohio State, that, you know, I would probably guess no other single high school has had their hand in as much production at Ohio State as Glenville.
What do you say about that?
It's my cat.
Yeah.
That's my dude. You know, we still like this.
Are you?
Yo, yeah, I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to present me in that Lifetime Achievement Award.
He's your presenter.
Yes.
Wow.
It's amazing, with all that's gone on since, that he got pushed out of Ohio State for nothing.
Yes.
Essentially.
I'm glad that's y'all got.
I mean, it's just absurd.
Yeah, it's the worst thing ever. You know, I don't know how you make that type of decision when, you know, you cost the state a lot of money, you know, because he was great at selling Ohio to
and he loved it. It's in his heart.
It's in his heart.
He cared about the kids.
Oh, he cared about it.
Yeah.
You know,
so much so that perhaps some of the things that went on were under his nose and probably knew about it, but now we've got kids making $2 million a year. And when you think of the small infractions that took place that ended his career, I agree with you. It's one of the real tragedies of college football in the last half century.
Really quickly, they voted on the NIL in high school. It got turned down.
They said no, sir.
What are your thoughts on NIL? Because we just talked about it a little bit. Some of the stuff that people got in trouble for before is completely legal now. Your thoughts on high school and college NIL?
I think it's. I'm not saying that the kids shouldn't receive some type of money for what they do talent-wise, but I don't think their mentality is there to receive that. You know, it's going to make things bad. We already
talked about. You don't think they're mature enough to handle that?
They're not mature enough. You know, I think you can put it in escrow and then give it to them later. You know,
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, but if you give it to them now, you're not going to be able to coach. You know, I mean, can you imagine a kid coming in to Ohio State? They got, and I'm just using Ohio State, and they got guys there that's been grinding forever. And then here's a young kid come in and he got $1.2 million before he even proved himself.
It's going on right now.
Yeah.
And that's causing chaos.
It's chaos. You can never have a team. It's going to be tough, you know. Let the kids that's there earn that money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But,
the NCAA and the colleges caused this problem because they had years where they could have come up with a more organized solution to it, but they refused to do it. And so it got forced on them, and that's why we're in a situation where there's no rules.
But it's not going away. It's going to get worse.
No.
You know,
they have to rein it in somehow.
I don't know. Well, they need the portal. They need to rein that in.
Right, they do. That's ridiculous.
Well, let me ask you one last thing before you go. You got another kid from Glenville that's going to Ohio State. Arvell, I think his name.
Arvell Reed.
How is he? What can we expect? Because we need some of that at Ohio State.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get a different mentality.
Okay.
He's a 4'5" kid. Is 6'4", can run. He'll strike you. And but then at the same token, we have to give a different mentality. Which that's my responsibility to put that in him before he go here. You're not going to Ohio State. You're not a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? When you go there, you're a different dude.
Yeah.
Because you come from Glenville.
Yeah, for sure.
You know
you know what I'm expecting.
So that's right.
I need him to come on and perform.
That's right. So, Dave was there yesterday. So I set him down. I said, I don't expect, and I think I had like 6 kids in front of him. I said all 6 of them should be at Ohio State. Now, whether you believe it or not.
I think you got a corner too. That's supposed to be
and I got a tight end, the best in the country.
Okay.
You understand? And I got an offensive lineman. And I got a tailback. You know what I'm saying?
He actually selling his people.
Bring it on down.
Because there's a lot of
What position does the kid play? The first kid you mentioned?
Linebacker.
Oh, he's a linebacker.
But I think he'd be a defensive end though.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah.
They're gonna put that weight on
Coach,
him.
we just have a minute. I could keep you all day. I've got so many questions. 2 quick ones. Did you ever think about college? I'm sure you had opportunities. Why did you always stay?
No, because Cleveland is where my heart is, and the kids here need me.
I thought that would be the answer.
But I had a job offer in McKinney, Texas.
Really?
Yeah, and they flew me there. I went in the interview like this, and when I got up, I said, I don't want it. That was $100,000 back in 2006.
Which was money back
then.
And
that was big time. And then I had just coached Tebow was my quarterback. I coached the East-West U.S. American game, and Beanie Wells was the tailback.
Wow.
Shoot, I wasn't doing nothing different. Run the rock.
One last question. My son is the track coach at Rutgers.
Okay.
And I know he watches this every day, so he'll love to hear your advice. And also for all the other young folks that are either in coaching now or thinking about getting in coaching, regardless of sport, what's the number one piece of advice you would give to those that want to be or are young coaches?
Well, first of all, you had to learn how to coach each kid individually. You understand? You got to get to know your kids because, once again, they don't love track either. They don't love football. You got to give them the right understanding about being a professional. Now, I call professional high school players. You know? And now it's really getting to be that with this NIL stuff. So you got to love the kids, and you got to have, you want to win. But I'm going to tell you once again, if you don't have a spiritual base in this situation, you're not going to win.
I love it.
You're not going to win.
Coach, thank you so much. We could spend hours with you.
Yeah.
Tedd Ginn Sr., would you sign our board? I'll give you this Sharpie. Our board back here is for Cleveland royalty only.
Okay.
And you belong on that. So if you would sign that board. And Mikey, I'll throw it over to you for a second.
Coach, appreciate you coming on. That was a pleasure. Anytime you want to come back, you are more than welcome to sit in that chair and talk some football with us. Teach these guys a little bit about how to play DB. And
that's right.
Tyvis was, an afterthought when you were winning state titles. But what's not an afterthought is our members, because UCSS members are some of our favorite people in the entire world. For $1.99 a month, you get to be part of the starters tier. It gets custom emojis, loyalty badges, community member only posts. We just unlocked yesterday the Happy Jason emoji. You've never seen Jason so happy. That was for $175. The next one we get to is Angry Stressed Out Bull. You're not going to want to miss that. That is at 200 members. For coaches tier, less than $5 a month, less than $60 a year. It's $4.99. You get all those same starter tier perks. You get the overtime video. It's 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes every day on some sort of topic. Today's topic, me and Bull are coaching elementary school basketball together. This is like Bob Knight and Coach K teaming up. This is the greatest Rocky River coaching tandem these kids have ever seen. We're going to talk about some coaching strategies and how to handle this today. Here's Coach Ginn signing that board. You also get to text us, and we're going to answer some questions. It's on the community members only tab. If you go to that, you'll find the number. Text us a question. We got a couple this morning already. I'm going to answer those later this afternoon, but all of that is allowed is our coaches tier members. Also, don't forget, with promo code LOCKDOWN15, you get 15% off Built Bars at Built.com. Cuyahoga Community College brings us our Browns talk every day. And how about Glenville? More importantly than anything else we learned today, we learned what a tar bloodder was. And I'm not sure any of us knew what that was heading into this. We're about to play True and False. I see Jay drawing on something. Earl, we ready? Coach Ginn's just going to leave behind us, and that is his signature. Thank you for signing the wall, joining the likes of DeQuell Jackson, Bernie Kosar. Who else is on there, Jay?
He said Bernie's his boy, too.
Of course he
Coach
is.
said Bernie was his boy. He said they're still using the equipment that Bernie gave them way back when Bernie was a player. How about that?
I believe it.
Wow.
How about that?
I believe it. Well, Coach Ginn, thank you again.
Yes,
Coach.
Coach Ginn.
Anytime you want to come back, you are more than welcome. Cleveland royalty.
Absolutely is.
All right, guys, it is time for our favorite Wednesday game.
True or false?
True or false? And this guy
Buckeyes need some corners.
has more gray hair than everyone on the set combined.
I don't
It's an
got no
elder
pen.
statesman of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Do I got a pen?
Yes,
It
on
is
the blue
Kevin
one
Love.
on this
Right
table.
there on the floor.
Yeah, he's 33 or 34, and he's got a full gray head of hair almost.
Full gray. G. Bush, you got a mark. Does everyone have a marker and a board?
Yeah.
good.
So
Who
Kevin
are we
Love
doing?
Kevin Love is
Kevin
the topic.
Love.
All right.
What
about
does it say, Tyvis?
McNuggets.
What was the question?
McNuggets, you cannot beat me.
Can
Can never beat me. You are the 7-time champ. It is what it is. It is what it is. You're not going to be an 8-time champ. Jay's the defending champ. I got my money on Bolt today. I'm putting my
Read it, Ty.
my
Read
$5.
it. Read it.
How about this? How about this? I'm using my $5 BetJack same game parlay on a trifecta. Bull first, Jay second, G third, Tyvis. I'm predicting the last
dead
place
last.
finish today for Tyvis.
All right.
What's the matter with
All right,
you?
let's go. Here we
All
go.
right, Steve, let's play the music.
What is wrong with this man?
I don't know.
Question number 1 of True and False for Kevin Love. Kevin was originally drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies. Is that true or false?
I have no idea, actually.
Boom, 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 boom.
Coach is giving us football tips right now.
I love it.
False, false, false. Bull, what does Bull say?
Bull says true.
Bull says true. And Bull, you are officially off to making my trifecta come true. It is true. He was drafted
traded
by
then
the
to the Wolves?
Grizzlies.
I don't remember that.
He was traded for O.J.
Set that up,
Mayo
Earl.
on draft
Set
night.
that
I
up.
didn't
right.
even
The
remember that.
Grizzlies took Kevin Love. The Timberwolves took O.J. Mayo. The two
Damn
swapped.
right.
Do not remember that at all.
Bull in an early lead.
Well, what you
Question number 2.
fed you the answer?
Kevin's father, Stan, played in the NBA for 4 seasons. True or false?
Stan the man.
Good old Stan Love.
It better not be the number of seasons is wrong.
Good old
True.
Stan Love.
False,
How we
false,
always
false.
see-
Bull goes true again, and for the first time ever, I think we have a 2-0 lead
Uh-oh.
after 2 questions. That is
You know that
true.
his dad played in the league.
I thought it was 2 years. I didn't think it was 4 years.
4 years.
And
That's
I thought that
okay,
it
he was messing around with
Why
me
does
years.
Bull
Yeah.
know every answer?
is
We
working
all 3 of us is in cahoots, except for him.
I just thought.
What's
no.
that? What's that trifecta list? What you got?
It's Bull in first, Jay second, G third, Tyvis fourth. So far,
I got to
might
mess
tie for
up.
last with
I gotta
zero.
mess up his parlay at least.
question number 3. You know what Kevin's dad did, but Kevin's uncle Mike is the lead singer for the Beach Boys. Is that true or is that false?
Now, if you try to say he wasn't the lead singer, he was just in it, I'm gonna be
No.
salty.
Well, that's where we are. He was not the singer, but he was in the Beach Boys.
False, false. G. Bush says true. Wait, before you take it, Steve, I'm going to double check my sources because Jay sounds confident, but we'll take it. According to the research I did yesterday, it said he was the lead singer of
He
the
was
Beach
the
Boys.
guitarist.
I'm going to double check. Hold on.
Hey,
Should have just said in the Beach Boys.
hey, if it's
No, see, he's always throwing these double
he trying to get
curveballs
cute.
in there.
He trying to get cute. By the way, if it's on Tag
See,
Boy
because
account,
there were multiple lead singers on
if it's on Tag Boy,
Should have just said in the Beach Boys.
if it's
Yeah.
on Tag Boy,
Hold on. We're going to the official.
there's no
official
going back.
scoreboard.
It's already down.
Hold on. Stand by.
Standing by.
He's going to get ripped off on
Look,
this.
look, look. And I knew he was trying to do. That's why I said that.
It says the lead singer. It says Mike Love, lead singer of the Beach Boys.
There it goes.
Okay, now do a Google search. Who is the lead singer of the Beach Boys?
Stand by, please.
Because I think
Beach Boys are not around anymore, are they?
Look at
No.
this.
No, but
this is what you get for making
I
these
believe
tricky answers.
it's like
That
the
was a
Beatles.
bad
It's
job
like
at
the
it.
Beatles. Like,
According to the internet, from Anthony, tell me that again. From 1961 to present, he is the lead singer in the Beach Boys, Mike Love.
All right. So
okay, then we got to go with it.
I should get
But
another.
it's like if I asked you who's the lead singer of the Beatles,
John Lennon.
John Lennon.
Michael Jackson.
but what about Paul McCartney, who sang lead on a lot of solos?
They did, but
And
Okay,
it's the same thing.
I can see how that one's a little confusing.
Well,
We're gonna
this
give
one
it
is
to
too.
G.
There are the
you gotta
Beach
go with
Boys
what you
have
had.
songs where he wasn't the
His
lead
parlay
singer,
is messed up.
but
Jay.
he, I guess, is officially
yeah.
the lead singer.
So G's, I got 2. G's got 1. You guys got 0.
Ty-
Yeah, so we're gonna go with G. G, you get the point for that.
Oh, Brad, that's some BS right there.
And I do apologize. I was not aware that
That
so
was a
many
bad
different
job.
lead singers were in the Beach Boys.
That's
That is
okay.
on me, but
That's
G,
okay.
according to the YouTube chat, they're all singers.
The
but
little
you know
Saint
what?
Nick.
Yeah, they are, and they all, you know.
He must be considered the lead singer
Yeah,
for whatever
yeah.
reason.
And
gets the
maybe,
checks.
maybe officially John Lennon is listed
Yeah,
as
right.
the lead singer.
Yep.
All right.
All right, question number 4. It's a little bit long.
Damn, I'm over 3.
Despite playing
So you, Ty.
AAU ball for the SoCal All-Stars with several other future NBA players, Love never won the Adidas California State Championship.
I'm just trying to get on the board.
First of all, this is dumb.
We need questions that we could actually get right
We all
and not guess.
I'm just trying to
we
get on the
actually
board.
know.
False. True. True. Tyvis says true.
Give me
And
your-
Bull. This isn't a domination to true and false. Bull is out to a commanding 3-1
First of all, hold on,
Bro,
First
we
of all-
literally need to change the game.
Hold
Not
on.
true or false. It's
First
take
of
a
all,
guess.
he's not
Take
even.
a guess.
He's not even from California.
He played on the SoCal All-Stars.
He's
And
from like Oregon or
He is
something.
from
Yeah, he
Oregon.
is.
This is
So,
like,
like-
You can play AAU wherever you want.
And he never won in California. He never won.
He never lost. It's actually true because he never lost. He went 46-0 in his AAU career. Never lost.
These layered lies.
If this were
wait, I just want to know why Bull getting them all right.
Because I'm not whining like you
it's
guys. I'm
pretty
just getting the
it's,
answers right.
I'm just saying it's
Playing the
fishy.
game.
It's fishy.
here's what it is.
Yeah.
It's called take your guess.
No, it's
And he's
fishy.
doing really well
This
guessing
is
answers. He
fishy.
could have known that.
For him to just
Bull-
I'm
Bull
gonna tell
just
you
said
why.
he knew that last
For McNuggets
this one-
to
this
say
one you
what
can
he
know.
said
This
makes
one you
me
can.
really wonder.
That's
Question
inappropriate.
number
Do
He's
not-
being
five.
fed the answers.
Never accuse me of cheating. I would never cheat. I never
Question
cheated in my
number
life.
5.
Never would.
Kevin was in the same draft class as Derrick Rose, Michael Beasley, O.J. Mayo, Russell Westbrook, Robin Lopez, and Cavs pick that year.
All right.
J.J. Hickson.
They
now
got. It's
that-
got to be all. It can't be just some of them, right?
It's all, yeah.
Okay. All or
All or
nothing.
none.
You fed up. Just put
Nah,
me
it
up.
says true,
Put
true.
me. I'm on the board with this one.
So am I,
True.
but
I know I'm on the board.
It's a bad question. I'll tell you why in a minute.
Well,
he
he
just
just said
said
it.
Don't say yeah.
Listen, Bull's going to say.
I still got it wrong.
He got it wrong. He literally just told us he traded for O.J. Mayo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. It is true. I gave it away on that one.
I guess
wanted to
O.J.
give-
Mayo
I wanted
didn't
throw
have to
Tyvis
be a
bone.
rookie. Did he say
I
he was
wanted to
He
drafted?
want to throw me no ball.
True, we could have been. Yeah,
I'm
right.
trying to
have
mess
to be a
up your
rookie.
parlay.
I tried throwing some random names in there, maybe throw you guys off. Okay, this is my favorite one of the whole game. You guys ready?
We have
Yeah.
7 questions left. It's the only way I can win.
No. We have
All
3
right.
left. Kevin's middle name is Wesley. True or false?
I actually have no idea.
I don't know no white dude's named Wesley.
One of my son's good friends who lives next door to us. Kid's name is Wesley. He's white.
Look, he done talked me out of it
The
because I was.
nerdiest kid I went to high school with was named Wesley Bollinger. He was a big white kid that
They
played
didn't
tuba.
In
talk
fact,
me.
he's country
They
white.
didn't talk me out of it now because I sure was gonna say.
True. G. Bush says false.
False.
False. And G. Bush. You are making this a game, my friend. It is
What are you
20.
talking
Hey,
about?
so am I. I got that right too.
Jay
G.
got
Bush
one
said false.
I mixed up J
Mike,
and G.
you're a disaster
Mixed
right
up J
now.
and G. I mixed up J and G. Do you know why his middle name is Wesley? Do you know who he's named after?
Yeah, he's named after
Wesley Person, right?
No.
I read this
Wesley
somewhere.
Snipes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Are you kidding?
Oh.
Bonus question. I should get a point.
I was the only one that got that right?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not Wesley Snipes. It's Wes Unseld.
Yeah, Wes Unseld. I knew it wasn't Wesley Snipes. I knew it was an NBA
I have
player.
so many tabs up right now trying to get this right.
Let me tell you
That's my
something.
bad.
I can
My bad.
confirm right now that you are not up to be a host for any game show ever in the history of
you're
television.
struggling today, Mike.
Hey, listen. He's
Wow. True or false? Mike sucks at this game.
Mike trying to get this
today's not my
parlay.
best day. Hand up, not my best day.
How many questions left, Mike?
We got 2 more.
I'm trying.
Okay, now wait a minute. I can still win then.
What's the
No,
score?
you cannot.
Yes, I
It is
can.
Bull with 4.
And I've got 2.
Yes, Bull with 4,
Oh.
Tyvis with 2, G with 1, Jay with 2. So
The-
Bull
oh,
chokes the last 2.
I mean, I can tie him too. What
Tyvis
you
is
mean?
still alive. My trifecta is still on the board.
Hey, if I come back from 4,
My
That
trifecta
is, that,
still
I
on the
would.
board.
yeah, this would be like Yankees.
You
this
win
would be
this
like
one.
Cavs.
Are you guys ready for question number 7?
ready.
Because we got Chris Fedor waiting on us. Chris, if you want to play along, you can play along here. True or false with Kevin Love. Question number 7. Kevin is a style ambassador and campaign model for J. Crew.
I actually have.
Is that
no
true?
I have no idea.
Is that false?
I think this is
Don't say anything, Chris. What are you doing?
I think this is Banana Republic.
Could it be?
G. Bush says true.
It is Banana Republic.
False. The answer is false because it's Banana Public.
Yeah.
G, you said you had the right answer. You stuck with the wrong one.
Listen,
G.
you know,
I
I'm
verbally
hey,
said the right answer.
Hey,
Look at here.
Look.
Look at here.
See, Chris Fedor, I'm just showing these
You know what
dudes.
your problem is, Jay?
I'm
You
showing
can't
these
finish.
dudes I understand. I even know the right answers. These guys
But you
are
knew the right
I'm
answer.
bad.
He knew it and he wrote it down.
I'm mad because I wanted to switch it, but
Can
I
I
was
just
like,
say
I
that
didn't flip it
This
yet.
is the worst segment we've ever done.
This is the worst true and false we've
Ever,
ever done
ever.
by far.
What's
It's
the-
on
We
me.
got guys knowing the right answer, but writing down the wrong answer. We've got McNuggets doesn't know where the hell he is.
I'm so focused on coaching Bulls rec team this afternoon.
Yeah.
Which is I have so many drills I want to run these
Wait a
kids
minute.
through Bull. It's gonna be amazing.
Hey, did you get
What's
my
the-
Instagram
what's the
video on
I
stand?
how
did.
to
I'm
coach?
gonna watch
Big
it.
Nuggets, what's the stand?
Going into the last question.
I'm down 1.
4, 3,
Yeah,
2,
it's
1.
4, 3,
Yes.
2, 1.
Yeah.
Oh, so if I get this right, his parlay is messed up.
Yes.
Okay, then this
It's
is
the
all
little things in life, isn't it, Tyler?
I gotta win something.
Question number 8. And Chris, we're not going to take you live, but either give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. I will tell you after if you're right. But you know this better than these guys do, so I don't want you giving them the answer. True or false? Kevin is credited with acting roles in both HBO's Entourage and Disney's The Sweet Life on Deck. True or false?
Bull and I can't answer the same way, or I lose. Bill, and damn it.
I'm a winner.
Damn it.
Everyone says true. Chris Fedor
Yes.
says true.
The
And the answer is
The parlay
true.
is ruined. Yes.
Right.
Bull wins my
Who cares?
trifecta.
I'm
No,
the
the
champ.
parlay is
Not
not
right, but
ruined.
Bull,
Yo,
congratulations.
The parlay is
Thank you.
ruined.
No, it's not.
Mikey
It was-
corrected. The only thing you said smart
He
today
said
was that I
1,
would
2,
win.
3.
These guys
Oh,
are a
he
bunch of
Yeah,
nitwits.
I came in
I'm a
third
genius.
on purpose.
I know Kevin Love better than anybody else.
I'll tell you what, though. You were sweating it.
Yeah, Bull was
No
sweating
sweat.
it.
I
And
had
now
no
we got
sweat.
Chris Fedor.
3-1. I was
I was not sweating at all.
I came back to make that a hell of
I
a
knew
game.
he was on Entourage because
Chris, if you
I
played
used to
with us
watch
the whole
Entourage.
game, I'm sure you would have won that. We apologize for not letting you get in on that earlier, but you were 2 for 2. So if you want to take the belt from Bull because
mad about
it.
percentage-wise you were
He's not
better,
taking the
I
belt.
give you
Jay,
that
I
right.
shouldn't have flipped the board.
Chris, what-
when he,
I
but then
What
when
guy?
he said, but I was just like this, and I shouldn't have just said, hold on.
Yeah.
All right,
Congratulations,
let's
Bull.
thank you. Let's bring Chris in. We got Chris in.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he's
here,
ready.
man.
He's on screen.
Chris, what? By the way, what's the? Will Kevin Love? Would he have gotten them all right about himself? I think is he that aware, or would he have been lost? Maybe. I don't know.
No, he's very aware. He would have gotten every single one of those right. Are you
I
kidding
mean,
me?
they are about him.
I don't know. Some guys just
You
don't.
gonna open with a question like that?
How about a real question?
That was his fastball.
Is Kevin Love playable in the playoffs?
There you go.
Now that is a
Some
very good
players
question.
are unaware.
Chris, first of all, welcome to the program. For those of you that don't know, he covers the Cavs and does a great job for Cleveland.com. Is he playable in the playoffs? Because as I'm watching him, this is the year he got old, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know what kind of rotation he can fit into in the postseason. I really don't.
It's a fair question. I think the Cavs are wondering the same thing, especially given the tendencies that he has on defense to have some slippage when he's on the court. And this is a defensive-minded team first, and I think they're going to try and continue that identity even in a 7-game series. So I know that Kevin has an important role on this team, especially during the regular season. He brings floor spacing, he brings shooting, but the defensive questions are going to be there. They're going to continue to be there. And I think his availability in a postseason series is going to be matchup dependent. Even if you go back to when he was part of the Big Three, when they were going to 4 straight finals, it was matchup dependent then. So in the right matchup, I think Kevin can be effective for the Cavs, and I think he can be a helpful player for them. But when teams start to downsize and they throw more speed, quickness, athleticism out there, and Kevin has to defend on the perimeter, that's going to be a difficult task for him. In saying all of this, I think we have to point out that Kevin is still playing with a fractured thumb, and that is causing his shooting percentages to drop significantly. And when he's not shooting the ball as well as what you're used to, and he's having the same problems that he's always had defensively, it really exacerbates the problem.
Would he be better off sitting out again?
No, I asked him about that, and there's no treatment that he can do for his thumb. Like, the fracture is at the tip of his thumb, and it's just something that he needs time. And it's not something that he can re-injure. So he's still being effective in other ways, right? Like, he's giving them floor spacing that opens up the court for Darius and Donovan. And there's a domino effect to every time Kevin goes out on the floor because of the gravity that he creates, because of the rebounding that he brings to the table. And quite frankly, there is no better option for the Cavs currently healthy that they can give minutes to right now instead of Kevin Love. Like, what are they going to do? Play Mamadi Diakite? Play Isaiah Mobley? Like, you still can get by with Kevin playing 15 to 20 minutes and him doing the other positive things, even though he's not making shots at the rate that he's used to.
Chris, let's ask the most important question. When LeBron comes back in a year and a half, will the Cavs then win another championship? Because you know, as good, the team's good, but they're not winning a championship right now. They need LeBron. When's he coming back? Are we keeping a locker for him in 2 years? What are we doing
Why
here?
do you think he wants to leave Los Angeles?
Because they suck.
They do suck.
Chris, here's the thing. He may not want to now, but he changes his mind every 17 minutes.
That's true, too.
I would agree, but at the time that LeBron decided that he wanted to go to Los Angeles, that was thinking that's where he was going to end his career. He loves his life there. His family loves it there as well. And he loves being a Laker. Bottom line, he loves being a Laker. LeBron is somebody who grew up rooting for the Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys, some of the biggest franchises in sports history. Being a Laker is appealing to him. Now, it might not be appealing to everybody else out there, but it's appealing to him. And on top of all of that, like, the Lakers are going to be able to make some other moves this coming off season and into next season. So they suck right now. They're not a good team. Nobody should be talking about them as any kind of contender. But the opportunity for them to get better is going to be there this offseason when they have less restrictions on the things that they can give up via trade, when they have more money to spend in free agency. So I find it hard to believe that LeBron is going to leave Los Angeles unless things continue to go down the path that they are currently, and I just don't believe that that's going to be the case for that much longer.
Well, Chris, what about when his son decides to become an Ohio State Buckeye, and, you know, he might as well play for the Cavs, and they can come watch each other's games because, you know, he wants to be at his son's game. So, you know, if they're both in Ohio, you can get an NIL deal off of that right there. So, I mean,
he will get an NIL deal.
I'm just saying.
I understand the thinking, Tyvis. There's no doubt about that. And LeBron has gone on record saying that he wants to play with his son. At some point in his career, he wants to finish his career playing with his son. Like, he's got all these accomplishments. NBA championship rings. He's going to be the scoring record holder as well. The last thing for him to accomplish before he calls it a career is playing with his son. So maybe that's appealing to the Cavs. Maybe they'll find a way to get Bronny to the Cavs, or maybe some other team around the NBA will find a way to get Bronny. But a lot of people feel like Bronny will eventually be a Los Angeles Laker as well and play with LeBron that way.
Well, Chris, I'm actually ask you a serious question. These guys.
You mean the other ones weren't serious
at
this point?
Them is pipe
I thought I asked a very serious question.
You actually did, but these two guys
what do you mean? Bronny is going to Ohio State.
These guys
winning a championship without LeBron?
Chris Fedor, if Evan Mobley, that's where you win in the championship. That guy. If they can get him on trajectory, or they can unlock his hidden ability, like he's Gohan, See, that's a Dragon Ball Z reference. He,
I'm doing the same sideways look.
Listen, if you got
Chris watches The Bachelor, he's not watching.
If you get Evan Mobley to play the way he is supposed to play, I think that's the best way for them to win a championship. However, how do you judge or gauge his progression? Because I think he's not progressed as much as we've all thought he would.
The way that I judge it personally, and I think the way that the Cavs are judging it as well, is the most fair way to do it. It's about impact over production. Because I think production is tied to opportunity. I think production is tied to role within an organization. And at this stage of his career, Evan Mobley's still 21 years old. He's still maturing physically and mentally. And most nights, he's the fourth or fifth offensive option. So I don't think the opportunity is there for him to put up these gaudy stats that maybe some people want to see in year two, because some nights he's going to get 14 shots. Other nights he's going to get 8. Some nights it's going to be 10 shots. So when you have that kind of role on this team, and it's a ball-dominant style of offense with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell in charge of everything they do offensively, and Jarrett Allen being involved in everything they do offensively as well, there's just not a lot of space for Evan. There's not a lot of touches for Evan. There's not a lot of opportunities for Evan. And I think that's okay right now because he's still only 21 years old and he shouldn't have the offense being run through him. He's not good enough offensively. He needs to take more steps offensively. So it, to me, all goes back to how is he impacting possessions? How is he impacting games? And the one thing that you can say about Evan, even though his production is very, very similar to his rookie season, his impact is being shown on a nightly basis. He's one of the anchors of the second best defense in the NBA. He's one of the candidates for Defensive Player of the Year. And if you look at a lot of the nerdy statistics that some of these teams are looking at, they show that he is one of the best team and individual defenders in the league. And for him to do that at 21 years old while playing, 30 to 35 minutes a night and still doing other things on the offensive end, like the Cavs couldn't function the same kind of way at both ends of the floor if they didn't have the mobility and the versatility of Evan Mobley. And to me, that's impact.
Chris, let's talk about the trade deadline. There's been a lot of talk about trying to upgrade to 3 or maybe get some depth up front. But we know the Cavs don't have a ton to trade. What's your expectations? What should the fans' expectations be for the trade deadline for the Cavs?
Yeah, I think they have to be low. I understand that Kobe Altman has raised the bar because of all of the trades that he has made throughout his tenure as either general manager or now president of basketball operations. But, Bull, I think you hit it. And, guys, it's the way that it is. Number one, because of the play-in tournament in the NBA, many other teams that you would classify usually as sellers believe they have more of a chance now. And there's actually a fight and some kind of battle for the 8, 9, 10 seed in either conference. So you just don't have that many clear-cut sellers. That's part of the problem. The other part of the problem is exactly that. The Cavs don't have a lot to give up in a trade. By rule, because of what they've traded for Caris LeVert already last year, and because of what they gave up to get Donovan Mitchell, the Cavs cannot trade a first-round pick. They cannot trade a first-round pick. They can alter some of the protections on the first-rounders that they've already given up, but teams aren't going to be interested in that. So they have a bunch of second-rounders that they can offer. Jetty Osman, Dylan Windler, Lamar Stevens, and then Caris LeVert is the most valuable commodity that the Cavs have that is quote-unquote expendable. You could say Isaac Okoro as well, but I'm told that if the Cavs are going to trade Isaac, they need to get a significant piece in return. And as of right now, based on the trade market, there is nobody that fits that particular characteristic. So
pull that off.
So you start with Caris LeVert and you say, okay, whose salary does he match? What kinds of pieces could the Cavs get in return? And they like Caris, and they understand the value that he brings to the table. But the real question that they have to figure out over the next couple of weeks is there a better fitting player than Caris? Like, is there somebody that can fill the gaps that he can't bring to the table? And if that answer is yes, then I think the Cavs could continue to explore Malik Beasley from Utah, Tim Hardaway Jr. from Dallas, Bojan Bogdanovic from Detroit, Kelly Oubre Jr. from the Charlotte Hornets. But even those names, like, are they better than what the Cavs have at small forward? Yes, but do they make the Cavs significantly better? Many of those guys you would probably say no to.
McNuggets, you have a question, right?
I do. Chris, thanks for coming on. I appreciate these guys asking serious, real questions. This is a seriously real question that I need some more explanation on. Will you give us the full story of the taxi cab in Utah?
You mean in Portland?
I guess Portland, yeah. Wherever they name dropped you without knowing you were in the cab.
So, first of all, like, there's more of a backstory to it, but Twitter only allows so many characters. Yeah. So I get into my Uber in Portland, and every time you get into an Uber, people are like, what are you doing here in the city that you're in? Like, what brings you to this city? Because otherwise you would be driving yourself, right, if you're from there. So you basically telegraph that you're an out-of-towner every time you take an Uber and a Lyft. Unless it's really, really late at night and you're drinking or whatever the case may be. So I get in my Uber.
McNuggets would know plenty about that, but go ahead.
Obviously. So I get in there, and the Uber driver finds out that I'm from Cleveland because I say, I'm here, I'm from Cleveland, there's a basketball game going on, the Blazers play the Cavs. And this guy gets so excited. First of all, he's listening to sports talk radio, so you know that he's a complete sports nut. But he's also from the Portland area, and he knows Cleveland because of Chris Haynes, my former colleague at Cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. I worked with him for a number of years during the finals years, and he obviously worked alongside the Portland Trail Blazers as a reporter covering the team, and a lot of people in that city have an affinity for Chris Haynes. So the guy says, did you know Chris Haynes? I said, yeah. I knew of him well. I'm from Cleveland. He covered the Cavs, da-da-da-da-da. And then the conversation progresses, and he says, I hear the Cavs are interested in Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm like, oh, interesting. Where did you hear that? And he said, the internet. It's all over the place. Some reporter from Cleveland, Chris Fedor, the Plain Dealer, and he knew of the Plain Dealer because of Chris Haynes, so he recognized it. He said some reporter from Cleveland, the Plain Dealer, Chris Fedor, reported it apparently. And I said, wow, you don't say.
Did you tell him?
So by the end of the Uber ride, near the very, very end, I said, my guy, I got to let you know, I'm the one who reported it. I'm Chris Fedor. It was great talking to you. Nice to meet you. I appreciate all of the love.
Yeah,
that's absolutely awesome. I love it. So, hey, Chris, what's the deal with the Donovan Mitchell groin strain? Is it serious? I'm guessing I think he's already out.
The Cavs
for
just
tonight.
Announced right now he's out, like within the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, so he's not playing tonight. Is this a thing that just being precautionary and giving him some more time? Or do you get the sense that this could be one of those things, because groins can be that way, that just sort of lingers and they're concerned about it hanging around longer than they need it?
Jay knows a lot about lingering groins.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, I've had my share of groin injuries in my days.
You got to stretch out, dog. Then you doing all them gymnastics.
No, hey. Let Chris answer the damn question.
Extracurricular activities.
The chuckle over here, man.
That reporter, Chris Fedor from the Plain Dealer, I heard.
Yes.
He might know an answer.
That's right.
Are you sure that you don't want to talk more about Jay's groin?
Yeah,
Let's do it. Let's do it.
That's overtime
I
today.
think part of it is that they're going to be cautious about this. The Cavs, by nature, are cautious with every injury, with every player. That's just how they like to operate. They're going to be even more cautious when it comes to somebody as important as Donovan. As soon as it happened, and I was talking to my sources, I got the feeling that it was going to be a multi-game absence. And I still believe that it's probably going to be something along those lines, but I don't get the sense that it's going to be something that significant or that long-term. You know, at the time that he got injured, he actually called for the substitution. He raised his hand and he said, I need to go out, and he hobbled back to the locker room But when he came back from the locker room and he was standing on the sidelines supporting his guys, he wasn't really limping all that noticeably. It wasn't something where you thought, okay, he's got to stay in the locker room to get some extra treatment. He's somebody who takes care of his body. He's got a personal trainer that the Cavs actually hired from the Utah Jazz, who is with Donovan here in Cleveland. So they're going to do everything that they can to make sure that this isn't something that lingers. This isn't something that continues to flare up. But I would expect a multi-game absence from Donovan, and obviously he's not playing tonight in Memphis. That was always a long shot the minute that he missed practice yesterday.
McNuggets, what happened to the line? Because they were an 8-point dog. It's got to have changed,
It
right?
was no, they probably
Give me
already
1 sec.
factored
Was that baked into that 8
Yeah,
points?
Why-
By the way, I think that's stealing.
While he asked that question, I got to get I get eviscerated for this. People be acting like Donovan Mitchell is not on the same level as Kyrie Irving. Am I crazy for saying that?
Here you go.
Wait, who are these people that you're talking to?
on Twitter.
I said it on the show. I was like, Donovan Mitchell is 2 in my book. Like, as far as what
Hold up. To clarify your own statement, you said he's the second best Cav already. Not he's not in the
That's
same.
and you
exactly
said that a
what
few
you
weeks
said.
ago.
Now look.
He hadn't played here long enough.
Now look. I'm gonna say this though.
That's true.
Kyrie hit a jumper. Yeah, that is true. I give you that. But at the end of the day, if you extrapolate it out, I think he's on par to have the second best
Okay,
season.
say that though, but
He's
that's not
on- to have
what
the
you
second
said. That's not
best
what you
season
said.
of all time.
That's like
And-
saying Giannis is the greatest player.
and
ever.
I-
Well,
Giannis
that's
is
it.
gonna be
That
the
is
greatest player.
that
ever.
is a fact.
And I believe
I didn't make those rules. That's just what
I
it
believe
is.
Donovan Mitchell
Facts.
is better than Kyrie Irving right at this point in his career.
Of course he is.
All right, well I got
And
2
more
out of
reliable.
3.
G. Bush is backpedaling like Denzel Ward at this point right now. If you roll any further back, you're going to go through that wall, my man.
Hey man, I got 2 out of 3. Like y'all, he hit his shot, but I'm saying he better than him now. He gonna have a better season, pound for pound. Donovan Mitchell is the second
Now,
best.
Chris, we
that's
got to
the
tell
case.
Chris. Chris probably doesn't know this, but he is, by his own accord, the Duke of Knee Jerk.
Yes,
That is his
I'm
title.
the Duke of Knee Jerk.
Well,
you know
He
what it
is the Duke of
Well,
Knee
if
Jerk.
you can't use that, because if that's the same case, at 26, Giannis is the greatest player to ever play the game.
This guy.
Stop it. Chris, I do have a fun question for you. Now, this is a fun
He
question
was
for Chris.
backpedaling like Baker Mayfield at the Cheesecake Factory, man.
Oh, God, don't do
Wow.
that to us. Don't do that to
Chris,
us.
Chris,
Chris, back on point here. This is
Yeah.
a fun question, okay? There's 2 options I'm going to give you.
Yeah.
One of them is you can cover the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2 years with LeBron James back on the team, and the roster, for the most part, currently constituted, is the same. You're adding LeBron. Or your second option is you get to cover an NBA Finals between LeBron and the Lakers and this version of the Cavs. Which one are you picking?
I enjoyed my time around LeBron immensely. I understand what he means to my coverage and my career and the city itself. I'll always take the side with LeBron on it.
Of course.
Yeah,
As any
that would be
yeah,
so
that's right.
fun. That would be great.
Chris, your life is on the line. You have to arm wrestle one member of the Cavaliers to save your life. Who are you picking?
Ooh, good question. I got to pick somebody that I could beat there.
Could you beat anybody?
Darius, maybe?
You think
I
you
mean,
can
no
take Darius?
offense to him, but we're about the same height. We've got similar builds. He's not as physically developed, let's say, as some of these other guys because he's only 22 years old.
Yeah.
So I'll take Darius in that competition. He's probably the only one I'd have any chance of.
All right,
By the way,
I need you to jump on Twitter.
Wait a
Fedor says he can take
Yeah.
Darius in arm wrestling.
2 hours from now, some random Cavs blog is going to tweet out that you said you could kick Darius Garland's ass. I think that's what's gonna happen.
I know. I shouldn't have answered that question. I
Yeah,
should have
you
just
took the
hung up.
cheese on that. You took the
I
bait.
did.
You got to be smarter than that, Chris. I know you're smarter than
move.
that. By the way, I love the fact that you watched the show Castle. That show was so underrated. That show was great, man.
That
telling
show
you.
blows.
No,
There's
it doesn't.
There's
You've
nothing
never
good on
watched it.
network TV.
It's
Network
not
TV
on
is
anymore.
trash.
It was on 15 years
All
ago.
right, fine, maybe then.
All right.
I don't even know what
Everything
you're
on network
talking
TV is trash.
Castle's a great
Chris
show.
loves The Bachelor. Are you still watching The Bachelor? That's your show, isn't it?
Of course, that's one of many shows that I watch, Bull. You put it as that's the only show that I watch on TV, but I watch a bunch of different shows.
Do you watch Jerry
I watch
Springer?
911, I watch Chicago PD, I watch Blue Bloods, I watch Castle, I watch New Amsterdam.
So when Bull tweets, who the hell watches any of these network TV shows, he should just tag you, Chris.
Right. Yeah, there's still a lot more people watching network TV than
Is Jerry Springer still on?
Yes, it is. I just watched it the other day.
Jerry Springer is
Jerry.
Chris, which of the four of us is most likely to appear on a Jerry Springer show?
G. Bush.
Oh, that is
definitely G. Bush.
I mean, I got all the storylines.
He's been married 18 times already.
What are you up to? 4 or 5? I'm out of fingers.
Yeah, right.
Chris, I do have one last question for you real quick. You travel with the team, and we got to meet a lot of the guys at Media Day, and Robin Lopez is like my favorite fascinating character in the NBA. He doesn't play enough for everyone to see kind of the weird, unique guy he is. Do you have any Robin Lopez stories from traveling you could share with us?
He is also brilliant. That's the other thing that stands out to me about Robin Lopez. You can ask him a question, and he will use vocabulary that you would think it's just in everyday use. And you're like, I've never heard that word. I need to Google it to find out what it means. Because I forget in the context that I asked this question, but he responded with corpulent. Just like off the tip of his tongue, like it's an everyday word that he uses. I think the best story that I have of Robin Lopez is we were in San Francisco for a Golden State practice, and he was reading this thick book. And San Francisco was the final stop on this 5-game road trip in early November. And it was this thick book. I forget the name of it at this point in time because all these guys read books, and I'm trying to keep track of all of them. But it was this thick book that he was reading, and he is a speed reader. And then the very next trip that we went on, I think it was to Milwaukee, the next road game, he had a different book. He was already through the book like in a week. And it was probably a 500-page book.
And he's reading these not because they're assignments, but because he wants to.
No, because he wants to. And they're working on potentially maybe like creating some Robin Lopez book club because he's such a book aficionado.
Well, Chris, I just got done reading listening to an 11-hour audio book.
No, that doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. I read a book.
You drive a lot.
So that's not considered reading a book.
Read a book.
I retained the information.
But you listen.
Let's go to the source here. Chris,
that's
does
the
that
same
count?
thing.
Chris, does that count?
Yes.
No, that doesn't count.
Y'all are, I can't believe y'all. Listening to a book is the same as reading the book.
No, it's not.
If you were listening to a podcast.
I'm getting the same information.
But it's not actually reading.
But I'm getting the same information.
Go ahead, Chris.
If you listen to a podcast, would you say, hey, I was reading a podcast yesterday?
Yep.
Yes.
Talk to him.
Yep.
Talk to him.
No, Chris is spitting fact right now.
Thanks, Chris.
Did Pete Carroll give you your playbook on audiobook?
Yes. Yeah. They did both, actually. Because some guys are visual and some guys are audio learners.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You just can't call it
reading. As long as you got the information.
Yeah, it's fine that you do it. There's nothing wrong with listening to an audiobook, but it's not reading it.
Chris, you have hung around us long enough to lose IQ points, and we're going to end it right there because we need you to be on point as you write about our Cavaliers.
Thanks, Chris.
Chris, thanks. You were awesome. Thanks for playing our silly games. We appreciate it.
You got it, guys. Anytime. Enjoyed it.
Chris Fedor of Cleveland.com. Tremendous writer.
I mean, you could ask 8 questions about me, and I might not know all of them. I'll tell you.
Come on, it's you.
It's possible. I got seizures when I was younger. Some of my childhood stuff is all scrambled.
You lost brain cells along the journey.
Did.
You could ask me something about something that I did, and I would 1,000% know if I did.
Of course you would.
All right.
I'm in tune.
25.
Because you've made it your history to know the history of Tyvis Powell.
Yeah, he's a fascinating guy.
Once you're in your 50s, 25 and 28 is the same thing.
That Tyvis Powell.
You know what? You're right. It all just runs together.
25, 28.
People tell me all the time of things that I covered and that happened. Remember when we were on this story? I'm like, hell no, I don't remember that. Do you know how
Kevin loves an old man. That's why I thought he might not know some of this stuff.
That's possible.
What do you got, Mikey McNuggets?
Oh, this is going to be fun.
We don't know what it is.
Listen, if you have friends that are regular viewers of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, You may want to reach out to them right now to make sure they're watching, because this is going to be
So you
worth
know what it is?
I do know what it is.
I don't know what it is.
It's going to be worth the watch, I promise you. Wake the kids, phone the neighbors. This is going to be fun.
We going to get this in 15 minutes?
You know what it is?
McNuggets, take it away.
Yeah, so before we turn the floor over, we have a group chat, and after knowing these guys for 10 months now, I came to the conclusion last night, and I had to make a segment for it.
Yeah.
We argue all the time in the group chat, and you know what? I hate to admit I caved, but I caved. So this new segment is called Watch the Banner as I update this. It's called Bull is Always Right.
Just
That's
ask
true.
her. Just
That
ask
is
her.
true.
Yeah.
Bull is always right. Bull,
Always.
the floor is yours. Tell us what you're right about today.
Well, many things, but let's start with the fact that
Everything.
I actually don't think I'm always right. What's funny, by the way, but before you get this, is I used to get calls on the radio station, Bull, you always think you're right. Well, don't you always think you're right?
Yeah, who's going to argue a point that they think is
Have you ever
wrong?
argued for something you thought was wrong? I don't know.
Yeah, it makes for better ratings on TV.
Yeah.
That's called first
Nonsense.
take.
No. Let me tell you something. So it was the number one question I was asked. Does Skip really believe all that stupid shit?
Yeah.
And you know what?
Well, there we go.
I think it wasn't in the first 15 seconds. We good.
Here's what I would always say. Believe it or not, he does. He
crazy.
never would go. Now, Stephen A. could go on TV and argue something he didn't believe. So oftentimes in the meeting, Skip would say something and Stephen A. would say, yeah, there's nothing here because I think the same thing. But I tell you what, I could make a point against him. So we had a topic.
Right.
But that was very rare. But Bull, I can tell you from working with Bull now for 7 months.
Yeah.
Bull, if Bull says it on this show, he firmly believes
100%.
it. And if he does change his mind, which has only happened once or twice, he is not afraid to admit it and say, you know what? I thought about that.
He does do that.
And I admit when I'm better than anybody I've worked with.
Thank you. I will admit when I'm wrong, but when I believe in something, I'm all in.
Yes.
100%.
But you will change your mind.
But I will change my mind.
And you know who else? That
if
reminds
I'm given
me,
more information, I'll change my mind.
You are the equivalent of guys that I've worked with. The closest person to me, Colin Cowherd. Because Colin will do that. Colin is wildly opinionated on everything.
Colin is extremely talented. I'm not a fan, but I can admit he's
very,
talented.
very good.
It's not my cup of tea.
I think his strong suit is if you make a strong case, he will say, wow. And he doesn't do it often, but you do that too.
Thank you.
And I think that's a testament.
Now, this one, I'm not changing my mind. It's something I've been saying for probably 3 years. Tyvis has been resistant to this. But do we have a graphic or no? Should I just say it?
We can pull a tag.
Look at this.
All right, yesterday.
right at me.
Yesterday.
Oh, my God.
Your boy, Ezekiel Elliott.
This is fact.
Last 40 carries, 74 yards. If you watch the Cowboys play at all right? And because of fantasy, you watch a lot of different games.
Sure.
I watch the Cowboys play a lot. I've had Tony Pollard a bunch of times over the years. It's been clear to anybody that Tony Pollard is the not just superior back, but the far superior back of the two guys in the backfield. But because they've paid Zeke so much, and because Jerry Jones runs that football team, they use him a lot. Now, everybody goes nuts about Zeke's touchdowns. Yeah, because Pollard does all the work to get him down, and they bring in Zeke at the 1 yard line because he's a bigger back, which is fine. He gravy trains off of Pollard's work.
So he Lindell White. Okay, go ahead, keep going. Yeah.
Tony Pollard, I've been saying for 3 years, and I've been saying to you for a year since we've known each other, that Tony Pollard is the man. He is the alpha dog back on those Cowboys. I'm right. Will you admit it?
You've left him speechless.
This is what I would say. This is what I would say.
Breaking news on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
No, I'm not speechless.
I've never seen that happen.
I was waiting on Steve to put the camera on me.
That was funny.
The great Tyvis Powell left without words.
This is what I will say, okay? Is Tony Pollard having a better season than Zeke? Absolutely. Does Zeke look like he lost some explosiveness? Absolutely. However, I would love to see how Tony Pollard is if he's an every down back. I think that the reason he is explosive is because he's young and Zeke does take a lot of those carries and does those things. If Tony Pollard was to get those carries every down, I don't think he would be the same. So I can't answer that question.
What has Pollard done in his last 40 carries? Let's do that. That's apples to apples.
I don't know the exact number. I don't know.
I guarantee it's more than 2 yards, less than 2 yards a carry.
Because if somebody's wearing the defense down,
by the way,
the speed back comes in and thrives.
For this
I like
season,
to see it without it.
for the season, thank you, Steve Becker, for this, Pollard has 131 more yards on 38 less carries.
He had 77 yards in the playoff game alone. And 15
and what about his
Pollard averaging
yards?
5.2 yards per carry this year. Zeke averaging 3.8.
That's the apples-to-apples number.
And I would be willing to wager he's much more effective in the pass game.
Oh, Pollard's excellent.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he better.
Now, Tyvis does make a point.
I mean, at the same, I could argue in the same sense. Dak Prescott went down. The back Cooper Rush came in and they were still rolling. But they didn't want to make a change.
Okay, let me ask you this: could Cooper Rush have done to the Buccaneers what?
We don't know.
Well, but here's the big difference.
Who says he could?
He looked like a Super Bowl
they
caliber
sure
quarterback.
stayed afloat when Dak Prescott was out. So
they did.
But that's just a couple of games. Pollard has outplayed Zeke for the last 2-3 years.
What do we have? Do we have a prize for Bull? I feel like we should have a prize because he's always right.
We actually decided.
Right?
Guys, bring it out. Bull has been right so much.
Oh, we do have a prize.
Yeah, it's
Bull,
so
close your eyes for a second. Close your eyes for 1 second.
It's heavy. No, you can open it, Bull.
All right, you can open it.
Open it here.
It's in a box.
Oh, what is this? I'm guessing it's not very heavy.
Be careful, man.
Okay.
Be careful. It's to you from us because you are always right.
Always right.
That's true.
I love this.
Is it a
You're going to love this, Bull. There it is, baby.
There it is.
There it is.
Oh, and it's authentic, too.
It's authentic. Oh, that.
Did you guys really buy this?
Hey,
I don't want this.
Super fan Reed Garrett for sending us a Baker Mayfield jersey he wanted us to have.
44.
We thought of no one more appropriate for a Baker Mayfield jersey than Bull. And Bull for being.
I feel worse at my job just touching this.
It's authentic, man. Hey, can we get him to sign this? This look like my size.
He said I feel worse at my job for just touching it.
Your takes automatically went down 35%.
Careful now.
You keep
it lives forever on the internet.
Wait a minute. It might be mine.
You keep it, man.
Careful.
Tyvis
game jersey for
yeah,
sure.
it's some Reed Garrett. Thank you, Reed, for sending that in.
Yes,
It's
thank
a
you,
Nick
Reed.
Chubb jersey that we're gonna give Jay.
Hey.
Tyvis.
I'm feeling dangerous.
And unlike Baker, Tyvis will not be at the Cheesecake Factory today.
No, I can't go. I can't do that.
No.
Can't get caught behind the dumpster.
Where are you playing next year, Bake?
You know, I like my time in LA. I think I'm gonna do the LeBron thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead and stay on out there. I
Be a movie mogul.
My family loves it out there.
McVay's gonna stay in LA. You gotta love that.
Look at that. Matt Stafford's cooked. I come in, I'm dangerous, win games. We getting Cooper Cup back, so me and Cooper's boys. We're gonna get a lot of.
I know you and Cooper are very tight.
Yeah,
boy,
I revived Tyler Higbee's career this year.
Now
he was on a down trajectory. I come in, he starts scoring for the last 4 weeks, getting touchdowns.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat just said Tyvis just threw a pick.
Who is it?
Shout out to Dave 29 for that one.
Where is all the? I want to know where did they go? Like what are they investing? What are they investing their time in now? Like the people that were Baker Bros. Like are they?
Oh, they still.
Listen, they have not given up hope.
I trigger them every day on Twitter when I pick on
guys.
Baker
I'm going to make a proclamation right here on this program.
Yeah.
Right now.
I look heavy.
I'm going to make this proclamation. Baker Mayfield's career next season is revitalized, and here's why.
Oh, he coming back.
He is coming back to L.A. McVay is coming back to
but
LA.
Stafford's going to be there.
Okay.
There's no guarantee Stafford's going to play.
Yeah.
So this prediction obviously is a bold prediction, but it is dependent on the fact that Stafford doesn't play again, and I don't know that he will. If Mayfield is back and he has Cooper Kupp to throw to, and they get their offensive line back and they get all the pieces that they lost, I can see him having success in L.A. in that system with time in that system.
I don't disagree with you.
Baker is what he is. He's at best an average guy.
The Duke of Knee Jerk was right about Baker way back in 2019.
He ain't any good.
I was right about Joe Woods way back in 2019.
So wait, in 2019 when you said that Baker was going to never be any good?
I said, no, it's not going to work.
So what was 2020 like for you when he took them to the playoffs?
No. See, I had a whole whiteboard conversation when they was playing Oakland, and he was playing them games, and he was the windy games, and he was not doing nothing the first half of the year.
You know what?
I said, oh, this is not going to work.
You know what?
It's verifiable.
But what was it like for you when they went to the playoffs and they beat Pittsburgh in the first
I
game.
was excited.
Like but it had to be a little rough for you
but
because
Jay,
you
I'm
were
gonna let you know
he was never
there
going
are
to be
a
any good.
number of slapdick quarterbacks who have won playoff
They
game.
no, absolutely. But when you're in the moment, you don't know that it's short-lived.
No.
You don't know that.
This is what I'm gonna say about Baker next year. If he goes back, he becomes a starting quarterback in LA.
Yeah.
And Cooper Kupp's numbers go down, he got to go because that's 3 times from 3 different teams.
Oh, you mean if his production goes?
Yeah, if you can't get Cooper Kupp the ball, the Triple Crown winner Cooper Kupp.
Now,
but I'll tell you what, Cooper Kupp's the kind of guy that makes anybody look great.
Will you draft him if Cooper Kupp in fantasy next year if Baker's the starting quarterback?
No. No way.
So you're not that high up.
No, I'm not that high. What I said was his career would be revitalized. I never said
he was gonna be an
I'm going
all-pro.
to take him. I never said that. I'm saying that he could be serviceable with Cooper Kupp in McVay's offense.
There's 10 teams that have open quarterback situations. Baker should be good enough to be a lower tier starter, but he's got to change his attitude. And he's got to stop throwing picks.
I'm going to give
If you're going to be mediocre, you can't throw a million picks.
Baker's really not the story. The Baker Bros, I'm going to let y'all know.
Baker Bros.
The Baker Bros are the story. I'm going to let you know.
They're still hovering.
I wonder who coined that.
Newsflash. If they got 6 games next year.
I shouldn't have said that word. Sorry.
6 games next year. And if Deshaun Watson don't do something in 6 games, and I mean throw for 300 and look like he was, the Baker Bros is coming.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah. They coming. I'm letting you know they coming.
So
you better get it together.
We going to the air raid.
Hey, you know what? Here's what's going to become a term.
They're coming.
The Deshaun dudes. Look at all you Deshaun dudes out there spitting that he's going to take us to the Super Bowl. Deshaun dudes is going to be.
You know what it is? I'm so Switzerland on everything that it doesn't make that. I'm just going to sit back and laugh.
Hey, Bulls, you know it.
Oh my God,
you're a Deshaun dude.
Hardcore.
So are you.
Wait, I'm not going to defend him if he's not good.
No, I'm the one who
No. What I'm saying is you believe that
I'm
Deshaun
all
is
in
the
on
answer.
thinking he's going to be good.
I know you want.
But I'm going to kill him if he's not.
And you should. I expect you to. That's your job.
Get a close up on my knees.
Yeah.
If he don't play well, my knees going to be doing this. The Duke knee jerk. I can't do it no more.
Get him up out of here.
Get him out of here.
Pack him up.
I don't like that shot.
Can we put a ban on that shot for the rest of his game?
6 weeks.
I don't usually hit.
By week 3.
Nope.
Package.
If he's not playing well by week 3, she's going to be like, "Can we get Jacoby Brissett back? Where's Jacoby?"
It's Kellen.
By the way,
Kellen Mond season.
all these guys
If
like Baker and Jacoby
we'll have Kellen Mond on every
should
week,
all
I
be
promise you.
starters, and there's enough jobs available.
Good gracious. But no, I'm just giving y'all that warning. Cause they ain't went nowhere.
If he ain't looking good by 6 games, it might be a head
4.
coaching change.
It's 4.
Hey, by the way,
Wait, is it 4?
It's 4.
I say 6.
What do you say?
4.
We have 4 minutes, by the way.
Before you start saying, "Oh hell, this ain't working."
I think we got to know right away. Oh, not working? It's probably 6 games. But I want to see right away that he's
I
great.
do too.
Game 1.
Listen,
It ain't gonna
we haven't
be-
talked about
if they
their
ain't
schedule.
playing in the
Their
preseason.
schedule next year is ridiculously easy. And it should be. They're the last place team.
yeah.
So they have the easiest schedule. But when you look at the teams that are on their schedule
Who's
for
on
next
the
year,
schedule?
The
oh
NFC
my God.
the NFC
You
West?
probably don't have that made.
Yeah,
It's the
but
AFC
not
South
easy.
and the
It's
NFC
NFL.
West.
I mean,
Call it
So
up
like the
online.
Their
Lions,
schedule, yeah, give me
it's
one
the
sec.
Rams, Seahawks, 49ers,
They're
and then
playing
they
the
got
NFC West.
the
Well,
Texans,
you always, but
Jags.
the division has to play the same division, in the NFC.
There's only
What they
3
get-
games that are. There's only 2 games that are different between the schedules. 3.
No,
3.
3 games.
Now that there's 17,
Now there's 3.
Yeah.
But when you just glance at it, you make a general reaction,
Yeah.
and you say, "Wow, that's really tough," or you say, "Wow, that's really easy." And my first reaction when I saw the list, I'm like, "Hell yeah, that's doable."
I just think there's so many teams near the middle. There's not many easy games.
All right, here you go.
Let's pick wins and losses right now. Steelers home.
Oh my God!
No,
you
we're
can't
not
do
going to
this
play
now.
that game yet for crying out loud. I hate that game in September. Jesus, that's like McShay and Kuiper putting out their mock draft the day after the draft.
What's nice for the Browns?
You want to play 2024 schedule?
No,
we
What's
actually
nice
have
for
that.
the Browns is their road schedule. Their home schedule's tough.
Wait,
Their
do we
road
like the
schedule-
Bears? Do we like the Bears?
No.
I love that game.
Depending on their draft.
Do we like the Jets?
No.
I think that's
I think
a
the
very
Jets-
winnable game.
But we don't know who the Jets quarterback
No, we
is going to
don't.
be.
But that's why I like
Mike
it.
White.
Because we don't know. I like it.
49ers are
Lamar?
good.
The Cardinals,
Cardinals should be better.
Titans,
I don't think the Titans
Texans,
are very good.
Colts. Are you kidding?
Didn't we play them this year?
Broncos?
Hey, man, he got
bring me that schedule.
He got
he better win 13 games next year.
You got him at 13?
That's my number. He
13
better win
wins?
13.
Yep. That's
I want the 1 seed and 13-4.
10-7.
Oh, no, 10-7 and 1.
10-7.
10-7.
You got to shoot low down.
No.
They got to show it
13
to
is
me.
unreasonable.
10 is 9-8.
That's why I'm going
It's
there.
ridiculous to make predictions this early.
Hey.
I don't even know what the roster's going to be.
Hey, that prediction is you better come out here.
They just better be in the playoffs next year.
10-7.
That's my number, too.
Yeah,
playoffs.
They better be in the playoffs.
If 10 gets you in, then damn well better be 10.
They better be in the playoffs, otherwise it's
that's what it's going to be, 10.
There's everybody's gone. Except for Deshaun, if they don't win 10 games.
Yeah, I know.
At least
Deshaun's going to be the last man standing, making $50 million a year.
Yeah.
That might close up this show if they go. Wrap it up.
Speaking of wrapping it up, we're out of time. Any final thoughts, Nuggets? You want to tease tomorrow's show? What do you want to do?
Yeah, we got a minute left. We'll tease tomorrow. Jim Scwhartz speaking at 2:30 today.
Yes.
So we will react to his introductory press conference as the Browns defensive coordinator. We also have Guardians hitting coach Chris Fedor. Did I say that right?
I think that's how
And I
he
will be
pronounces it,
here
yeah.
tomorrow, McNuggets. I was supposed to be off tomorrow, but I'm going to be here.
Okay, so Bo will be in for an interview with Chris Fedor. We also have Howard Eskin.
I got a final
Howard
take
Eskin
/ thought.
Yes.
I worked with him for a
time is
week.
quick.
I worked with him at ESPN. Why is
Real
Howard
quick.
coming
Hold
out?
on. Let me get the floor.
Talk about Jim Scwhartz.
1 minute.
Oh, awesome.
It's one sentence. Kyle McCord will win the Heisman.
Is he even definitely the starter?
Who is that?
Dude, stop
Buckeyes quarterback.
The Buckeyes
Stop
quarterback.
it.
Kyle McCord
Is he definitely the starter? I don't know that he's definitely the starter.
Also, February 8th,
he's gonna be the starter,
stand-up.
but
it's
man.
official. February 8th, stand-up. UCSS will be there at Hilarities on East 4th. February 8th. That's
Wednesday.
official.
Get your
3
tickets
weeks from
now.
today.
We'll see 3 weeks from today.
I don't think they can get the tickets yet, can they?
I'm emailing with Polk right now. We'll have a link.
Bring your tomatoes.
All right. We're heading to do some overtime. We'll see you there.